At the Phoenix Zoo, it's been over 105 degrees for days, so they're cooling bears and monkeys down with big blocks of ice. Zookeeper Corey Barr hosing down the elephants.
Elephants are pretty intelligent animals, so as long as we provide them the tools that they need to keep themselves cool, they'll do it on their own. Things like water, mud that they can splash on themselves.
At the Virginia Zoo in Norfolk, zookeeper Jenna Moore Matthews with a warning for pet owners.
Watch out for like extreme lethargy, if they are kind of panting excessively.
And in San Diego County, cooling off as it's Surf's Up, Dog. As a fundraiser for a local animal shelter, SoCal Surf Dogs is selling dog surf lessons. For $45, you'll be taught how to teach your dog how to get on a board and catch a wave. But can they show pooches how to hang 20? Take a pause. Jill Nato, Fox.
The Point is KUSG, Hagåtña, Guam, 93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Rich Dennison. The Senate moments ago approving a measure designed to fully fund a program for 9/11 first responders. Fox's Jared Halpern's live on Capitol Hill.
With dozens of 9/11 first responders, their families, and advocates watching in the chamber, the Senate signed off on a permanent extension of funding for the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund with a 97-2 vote.
We're just so glad that we're at the very end of this long travail.
Senate Minority Leader, New York Democrat Chuck Schumer says the legislation already approved by the House is long overdue. Indiana Republican Todd Young says the first responders are heroes.
They deserve to have peace of mind, and that's what we aim to do here in the United States Senate.
A pair of amendments designed to offset and check spending on the legislation failed. Rich.
Jared, defense officials today say they believe 2 Iranian drones were downed by an American warship in the Strait of Hormuz last week. President Trump today continuing to target 4 Democratic congressional women of color, addressing Turning Point USA's Teen Student Action Summit in the nation's capital. The president called Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib a crazed lunatic.
When I watched this maniac Tlaib screaming and shouting, and this was before she was a congressperson, can you believe it? But screaming and shouting, out of control. And then you see they have now another clip where she's even worse. This is representing us. This is not what we want representing us, I don't think.
The war of words began over a week ago with the president suggesting the 4 lawmakers return to their countries, though all are American citizens and all but one born in the U.S. Stocks ending higher today as face-to-face talks with China are set to resume. The Dow climbing 178 points, the S&P ending 21 points higher, the NASDAQ up 47 at the closing bell. This is Fox News.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Get a half gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
The Trump administration wants to cut millions from the food stamp program.
The USDA says it wants to close a loophole that allows states to make those enrolled in the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families benefits automatically eligible for the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. The proposal would affect about 3 million people and would limit the automatic eligibility to households that are getting substantial state-funded benefits. USDA officials say the move will save billions of dollars. The public will be able to comment on this for 60 days at regulations.gov. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
A judge in Puerto Rico issuing search warrants overnight for cell phones of government officials involved in a leaked online chat that sparked demonstrations calling for the U.S. territory's governor to resign. A criminal investigation into the chat is now underway. Governor Ricardo Rosselló says he won't resign, but he will not seek re-election. The body of a man found in a now shuttered Iowa supermarket has been identified as a store worker who disappeared 10 years ago.
Police in Council Bluffs say that remains found in January inside the now closed No Frills supermarket have been positively ID'd as those of 25-year-old Larry Murillo Moncado. He worked at the store and, according to police, likely fell and became trapped in about an 18-inch gap between the back of the cooler and a wall. In 2009, former employees tell police that it was common for workers to be in the storage space above the coolers. The supermarket shuttered in 2016. Investigators now consider the case closed. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A wanted tiki bar cook tried to flee authorities by swimming away in a North Carolina river, but was caught by officers waiting for him downstream. Lake Lure police say 38-year-old Jesse Boyd was wanted by the U.S. Marshal Service on warrants accusing him of forgery or counterfeiting in Iowa. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Kelaguen Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mezcla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. In Superior Court yesterday, 32-year-old Julie Salas Gaines Balahaja pleading guilty, that is, to charges of conspiracy to promote major prison contraband and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with the intent to distribute. Both are first-degree felonies. However, according to her plea agreement, she will serve no time in jail. I'll take the plea, said Balahaja to Judge Anita Sicola. Balahaja was arrested in December 2017 after attempting to smuggle drugs into the Manilao prison for her inmate brother, Peter John Salas Gaines. She was found carrying an unspecified amount of marijuana and 1.5 grams of methamphetamine. Under the terms of the plea agreement, Balahaja was given a 3-year suspended sentence and placed on probation. It's such a sweet deal, said Judge Sicola, but the statute does give leeway to first-time offenders, said the judge. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency is looking into reports that firefighters at the Guam International Airport sprayed firefighting chemicals into a jungle area beyond the fence line at the airport. Videos obtained by the Guam Daily Post show a firefighting truck discharging a dry, white substance into the area. Spokesman Nick Lee acknowledged that Guam EPA has also received copies of the videos. On the same day that the agency submitted a request to Airport General Manager Tom Atta to investigate the dumping of water from containers that were once filled with the fire suppressant chemical AFFF. EPA regulators have asked for a site inspection and interviews with all personnel involved with the AFFF operations and an inspection of AFFF storage facilities and equipment. Lee said that the airport has been cooperating with their questions. We'll have more news after this.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data-to-Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data-to-Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. 41-year-old Dina Marie Montanus Baskin has been arrested on allegations of aggravated assault and family violence after she was seen chasing after a group of people shouting at them with a large knife in her hand. Happened Sunday during the Liberation Parade behind the District Court of Guam building on West O'Brien Drive. The incident was captured on cell phone video. Baskin is seen running in her bare feet towards a group of people who are backing away from her. She then slows and breaks down in tears. 3 men slowly approached her, and one of them took the knife away. Second cell phone video is also surfaced. It shows police restraining Baskin in the parking lot of the federal courthouse as she continues to yell and tries to pull away from the arresting officer. Baskin is facing charges of aggravated assault, family violence, use of a deadly weapon, and criminal mischief. She was booked and confined. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has signed 3 charter school bills into law. Senator Talina Nelson's bill number 107 is now Public Law 35-30. It holds Guam charter schools accountable for maintaining at a minimum accreditation status. The measure would also extend the allowable period for a charter school to obtain accreditation from 5 years to 6 years. Senator Nelson's bill number 106 was also approved. It's now Public Law 35-29. It removes the Guam Department of Education's responsibility over the budgetary and organizational needs of the island's 3 charter schools. And Senator James Moylan's bill number 57 is now Public Law 35-28. It lifts the limit on the number of charter schools that can be established in facilities not currently owned by Guam DOE. In her approval message to the legislature, the governor said charter schools have grown to give legitimate alternatives in education, and the legislation she approved reflects the positive momentum towards fulfilling the original goals of the Guam Academy Charter School Act passed 10 years ago. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
Yeah, let's see what we got for you today, Kevin. Partly sunny skies, isolated showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Winds from the east about 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming light in the evening. Highs near 89 degrees, and overnight lows of about 78 degrees. Now, this sounds like the everyday general forecast that we've got for Guam, except I wake up this morning and it's muggy and it's snotty and it's raining outside, and I'm just going, wait a second, this one doesn't equal the other. Why is that, Mikey?
Well, it actually does. It's just a matter of the terminology that the Weather Service likes to use, and it's always isolated. Even these showers we have here on radar, this is starting to get into the territory of scattered, but they would call this numerous isolated showers, and that's exactly what we see on radar there. Lots of isolated showers coming on through, a nice, slow, steady feed from the east, and that's really what we're going to see for the next 2 or 3 days because we've got some weak disturbances that are going to move on through, and again, you mentioned all of the moisture that's quite obvious when you step outside your front door.
Yeah.
So it's just going to continue to do that, and welcome to rainy season. We finally made it.
You think?
It took a long time.
I'm refreshing this because it's not looping, and I thought I pressed the right looping, but it's the regular one. So how come it's not loop? Why is that?
I am not sure.
Okay.
Anyway,
satellite?
That's okay. But satellite shows no major weather systems coming towards us. Now, we do have one of those trade wind disturbances off to the east. It's kind of flaring up right now, but again, we're in that to the end of the diurnal cycle between nighttime and daytime. That'll probably let up a little bit before it flares up again, maybe just in time for this afternoon. 91 W Invest is off to our northwest, but it's going to move away towards Japan and is nothing to us, really. Just something to look out there. Nice, pretty colors in the satellite photo.
Yeah, pretty colors are always good then. It's 6:13 in the morning, and that's plenty of news and weather together here on The Point, brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
I hear that. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at Ruby Tuesdays. And here's something fantastic for you. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 4 to 6, and then all day Tuesday. Select draft beers, wine, sangrias, the RT Tipsy Palmer, Ruby Relaxer, $5 or less. It's true. $5 appetizers waiting for you. Check them for happy hour tonight at Ruby Tuesday Guam. Portions of the program also brought to you by American President Lines APL, where they've got a global presence but a local home. You can save up to, do I have an ANBO in this one? Not this one? Okay, next one we'll talk about Micronesia Renewable Energy, where there's never been a better time to go solar, because at MRE, they now have batteries that go with the solar system. It's all recharged and powered by the sun. You'll like that. And speaking of sun, it might be a little bit of sun today. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. The summer of Jeep continues over at Cars Plus. Sale ends July 31st. They've got a Wrangler, brand new Wranglers for you. Put your hands on the steering wheel of that. Feel the key in your hand, the power that you get when you pump into first gear on that thing. It is the summer of Jeep waiting for you at Cars Plus in Mighty.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
What's that, Mikey? What is there's a what coming over the north? Is it one of ours?
Yeah, a big shower. I got the radar working, and good thing I did.
Oh, you did get the loop, okay.
Yeah, because we've got a pretty big shower actually getting ready to affect the entire northern half of the island. It looks like a doozy, too.
Really? We got doozies today?
Yeah, doozies and whatnots.
I've got a list of what they say are some of the most incredible words to ever pop up in the history of the world. So you've got doozy in there. Here it is. I'm serious. Now this actually came to me from the internet, so you know it's true. There was a survey conducted, the best words literally ever. And I love this because it reminds me of how some of the people over at the legislature were bamboozled by members of the Calvo administration.
Yeah, they were feshmuckled.
Yeah, flabbergasted, discombobulated, and one of my favorite words, shenanigans, cattywampus.
Yeah.
Which we just don't use enough here in this program.
Need to bring it back.
Cattywampus, lollygag, malarkey, kerfuffle. And I love kerfuffle. I think that's one of my favorite words. I picked that up from my mentor, John Anderson, and it occurs to me that I don't use that word enough either. Brouhaha. Nincompoop. Okay, I say nincompoop. Whose face, don't you look at the camera, whose face pops into your head when you think, now we could go in a bunch of different ways. We got nincompoops at the administration, nincompoops over at the legislature, nincompoops kind of in general, but when I say nincompoop, I guarantee that you think of somebody. You don't have to tell me who it is. Facebook Live, just type it in if you don't want to, but it'd be fun to hear what your thoughts are. Skedaddle and pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel,
yeah,
which is less
bread,
of a word,
isn't it?
and yeah, it's more of an actual thing.
Kind of a food.
Yeah.
But it's one of the literally, they say, some of the best words, and thank you very much for the opportunity to use that. I think today would be a great opportunity to go back and start looking at some words we haven't used. And as much as I tried, Jiffy, I'd like to use Jiffy a little bit more in our conversations. You know, we'll get so-and-so on the radio in a jiffy, and they can talk about whatever it is that the big issue is that we're talking about right now. But I don't know that there's going to be any big issues. I mean, I'm looking around today. I mean, there's a couple of things where we can go and be outraged at the idea that we've got somebody that's hauling in drugs into the prison. The last place that you were supposed to be taking drugs is to the prison, and I'm sure they were all shocked and surprised when she come up and in the court case. And no one now should be shocked and amazed that there was a plea deal offered and she accepted. A sweet deal, as Judge Anita Sokola refers to it in the newspaper this morning. We'll talk about that and more. But first, I do want to welcome you to the program by way of introducing the people that I get to work with. The amazing Michael Knight, our Duke Sky Talker in the Weather Center here at 93.3 The Point. He's the guy that figured out how I can get that loop back on so we can see what's going on with the weather right now. And as he says, it's just a few minutes away from a big chunk of rain, maybe even some thunderstorms coming in over the north end of Guam. And when we say north end of Guam, we mean pretty much everything from Agana up.
Yeah, pretty much the entire northern half. It will be somewhat of a gully washer.
A gully washer. Gotta put that on the list. There should be a thing. This is like in the studio, a thing where we have words. We're not using these words enough.
Between the two of us, I know we've got a lot of words. Well, between the three of us,
yeah. Well,
there has
Kevin's
to be
got
words
some stuff. We're talking with Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post, and a bunch of great stories that he's got here. Sweet deal, right there, the top story. Sweet deal. Drug smuggling conspirator spared from prison, and we pled guilty in Superior Court on Guam. And then they said, "Well, you want the deal?" And they said, "Yeah, I'll take the deal." The deal means that even though I was arrested and found guilty of charges leaned against me for bringing in methamphetamine and marijuana, which is not legal. And I got James Howard going, but wait a second, marijuana is not illegal anymore. Distribution of marijuana is. That currently is illegal. And I think the
bringing
idea,
it into the prison.
I think that's still statutorily what me and my friends in the legal business would refer to as a no-no. That was a bad thing. So it's not as though we're looking at it and saying that every use of marijuana on Guam is now proper because the legislature, that one there is. That was. But you're not. It's for your own personal consumption, not bringing it into the prison. And as I said, I believe when she was arrested in December 2017, at that time the legislature had not yet spoken about the recreational use of marijuana. The governor had not yet signed that into law. So at the time, it was a no-no, and frankly, it is still a no-no. But notwithstanding any of that. Apparently, it's not a no-no. Apparently, there's no problem. You got a brother in prison. That's tough enough. I remember when I used to have a friend in prison. I'd visit him regularly, and it was one of those things where you go. The idea in my head that I would ever bring him anything that could be considered contraband was just the most foreign thing in the world. I'd go in there, and the only thing he wanted from me was a carton of Cools and whatever Playboys or Wee magazines I could get my hands on. That makes him popular in prison, that kind of thing. But going in with, back in those days, it was heroin that I could have gone in with, or cocaine or something like that. Those are the contraband items that we're looking at now. I believe that cigarettes are on the list of contraband items, and probably Playboys and the Wees are as well. Anyway, 6:22 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-8255. TALK is our phone number. 988-5874 is the WhatsApp, and I keep the WhatsApp card in front of me all the time to make sure that I consciously reminding you on a regular basis that I want your artwork, I want your stories, I want your video. We got a picture here. This is Pam Duvall's back of the house this morning as the sun was coming up. A few other things. Oh, look, a picture of Lulian Guerrero, and they're explaining to her what happens anytime they find something, either inadvertent findings over in the construction area where they go, Northwest Field and Finnegan. Wisconsin. Is that where they're off to? Anyway, so you can see all these people huddled around some kind of poster board thing, and they've got the most serious looks on their face.
Well, that's because at this particular instant, the soldier there is pointing out to the governor, see, this is the tree we saved. And all of these trees in the other part of the picture are the ones you let die.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So we got there's an interesting picture on the WhatsApp, and the theme for today's program on Facebook is today we are all Zumba queens, and I don't know if you saw the video. It started moving around yesterday afternoon. I don't know, lunchtime, 2 o'clock, and by later in the day, it was all over Facebook. It was all over 2 or 3 different WhatsApp groups that I was in. So I'm going to go ahead and refer to it as somewhat viral. Just a passerby at the Micronesia Mall could not resist herself when the Zumba music started taking a hold of her. A couple of interesting and provocative moves that we will play for you here on the Facebook Live in a second. But first, got to say hello to all of the important members of the cast.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, and the way it works is I got to keep track of the first 10 people that are on there because that's why they're there. Because they want to be in the top 10 of the program. Now we'll start with James Howard, John Ray Taitano, and Tony Annette and Pinko out of there. Ishmael is there, is online. Pam Duvall. Pam, Pam probably should have come in a little bit earlier. She probably should have come in higher on the list. And the reason why she didn't is because she sends me the pictures from the backyard. A very busy woman this time of day. I got Nick Perlowski and
But I guarantee you she's still higher on the list.
Anita Muffness with the Valentine's eyes. I see James Schmidt, Dave Duenas, and Darlene Blas. Good job, Dave and Darlene, waking up earlier, getting into the top 10 on the list. Good to have you there. James says his 5G is blazing. What is this with the blazing all day? Is that going to be our word of the day is blazing? Mingo Ree is online. Katie Baltazar Dodge. Good morning, Vivian Cunningham. Nice to see you there. Tim Lahan, Charlene Marshall, Viv. We still got to go shopping at that place. I see Debbie Wise. Good morning, Ray and Kevin and Michael. What a beautiful, well, I'm glad it's beautiful where you are, Debbie. We're looking out the window, and we think that's going to change any second now. depending on where you are. North of DPW, it could be a wet ride into work this morning. Lisa San Augustine is there. Juanita Machi, Cheryl Ochai. Good morning, Florence Cruz and Rut Rose Greeno. Greg Kirabrock is hanging out with us this morning. Pam says, wow, Judge Sokola, sweet deal, all right. There's a joke coming up any second now. Heather Perez, Rico Blancaflor says, good morning, Ray, Kevin, Mike, and everybody on Guam. Buenos from Heather. Trial for the animal who butchered Tamika Nauta is set for tomorrow. Well, we'll watch and see how that goes and the opening arguments and things like that. Gina Kono, Nate Horn is there. Good morning to you. Kevin Kerrigan is online. So is Dennis Bensour. Dennis, do me a favor. And Dennis is a great. Can I just tell you what a great guy Dennis is? I was talking on the radio about they were going to come and get the car to Triple J, but I would need a ride from wherever I was, my house, back to Triple J, and Dennis was he was beeping me incessantly yesterday. So do you still need that ride? Do you still? I'm not too far away from you. Headed to Telefofo, but I'd love to be able to pick you up and take you out there, Dennis. I sure do appreciate it. I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything like that today, but it's nice to know that when you need a friend, you're always around. I see. Darlene Phipps saying good morning, Guam. Where you at, Darlene? Bob and Connie Bartonico over there. Jeanette Suzuki. What does Ismail say? Don't say do whatever you want with the money. You should say do something responsible with the money because you don't want to promote someone doing the wrong thing like buying meth with a $40,000 loan. I'll keep that in mind. Appreciate the advice. Jeanette Suzuki, Rick Leone is there. Louis Minglotnia. Buenos dias, Ray. Ginin Luta. Hey, Hafaroda. Ed Napati is online. Bert Duarte, Dave Torrey, Ken LG says the pork barrel queen and legislative nincompoop TMB. So you're there's no statute of limitations now on the first 6 months of the new administrations. I'm sure that somebody over at the governor's office is hearing that and going, hey, what do you mean pork barrel queen?
Have you noticed that both here and over on the mainland, the Democrats just seem to be feeding on themselves?
Who was the most recent one? It was the Muslim girl.
Yeah, that lady.
That lady. No, there's 2 or 3 of them. She actually went after Obama. She actually went after. She had a pretty face, but he was a murderer. I think is near to the quote, and you know you don't go after Obama. I mean that's the new darling of the Democratic Party. He's a black John F. Kennedy, if you will.
Evidently, she only wanted one term in office.
Well, I mean we'll see what happens. That squad there is bringing a whole lot of undue attention to the Democratic Party in a way that the down-home Democrats don't seem to be happy with. But I don't think they know how to control. I mean, think about your kids, for heaven's sakes. Men's Bar is online. 628. Men's Bar is online. I just say, for the record, I want you. This show is so compelling. It's so provocative. It's so in the right now that even the people at the bar are waking up early to be a part of it.
We should stop by there after the show at 10 and do a little karaoke.
Well, we should do the show from there. Ismail saying, sweet deal. Yeah, she'll be out of there in jiffy. Ike Aseki, Jennifer Heinley King is online. I got Jose Martinez, Therese Ugg, and Rigel. And just so you know, there's another accolade here, but Jose Martinez is one of the guys when Kevin and I aren't here, or Kevin and Mike and I aren't here, and Bob and Real Joe Cruz aren't here, the guy that keeps the programming turning, the newscasts and the commercials and all of the network programs is Jose Martinez. And I tell you what, Jose, you do such a fantastic job. It's a pleasure to be able to listen to the radio in the middle of the night and hear the radio in the middle of the night. James Howard says, yeah, that's the tree Gov Guam left behind. Debbie says, I'm in Saipan this morning. The east side of the island still dry. Well, like I said, it's that time of year. If you don't like the weather, it'll wait 5 minutes. It'll change. Edilberto Santo de Castro from Seattle is there. Hold on, just a few more names. Lakeisha Pareda. Hey, what are you doing, sweetheart? It's nice to see you online. James Lester Lonzo, Richard Leone is hanging out. Bob Kelly's on. Bob, I might want to talk to you this morning. In fact, you might want to call in. There's a couple of stories. Docomo is, I guess they've got the charge now of being the guys that are going to be rolling out FirstNet here in the Marianas. And you and I have talked a little bit about it, but it sounds like, looks like, this is a go show, and it's going to be happening very, very soon. I equate it to kind of its own social media / internet, if you will, and bandwidth conveyance, but just for first responders, so that they've got a means to be able to talk to themselves. What's that, Ismail saying? Wonder what the short ribs would taste like using that tree in a barbecue pit. Ismail, that is a completely inappropriate topic, talking about using the wood from the, what is it? How do you say the name of that, Kev? What's the name of that tree? That tree.
Cerianthus nelsoni.
Cerianthus nelsoni.
Yeah.
We are not, well, I repeat, not going to be using the wood from the sacred Cerianthus, was that close?
Yeah.
Nelsoni tree for short ribs.
You know, you had
turtle. We'll use that for green turtles, yeah. Or octopus, or dolphins. I mean, if we're going to be cutting the thing down and using it, babe, we're going to be eating endangered species on that.
I like your shorter version of the tree name. Tree of Life.
Tree of Life. Sambini, good morning. Levon Guerrero Meno, Leslie St. Nicholas, and watching all the way in Oahu in Hawaii, and Jackie Cabrera is online as well. And I think that will round out the list for just now. I'll go back and take a look and see who else is going to be playing around and where we are going to be getting some of the more exciting topics that we'll be talking about today. As I said, you got a couple of things that are, it's interesting and provocative, but it's starting to feel like the same old, same old. We've been talking about how crooks and criminals have been just taking a ride with the criminal justice system. No matter what they do, the criminal justice system around here just cannot seem to wrap its head around the idea that somebody needs to be punished for dealing drugs and hauling drugs into the prison of all places where they're doing all of this. So it's hard for me to kind of gin up some righteous or even unrighteous indignation, because it doesn't seem to be making any kind of difference whatsoever. It's just going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening until we figure out a way, as Ken Leon Guerrero says, to take it back somehow and put it back so that in case of a tie, can the people win? In case of a tie, it seems like in case of a tie, the crooks win. as opposed to, I think, the other way around. I think there needs to be a little bit of more what I like to refer to as justice round here. 6:32 in the morning. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post and Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: a real estate and investment banking firm in Denver, Colorado, has placed the old Axion Hotel in Zonia on the auction block in the Archdiocese of Agana's search for a bidder willing to pay more than $5.6 million for it. The official committee of unsecured creditors hired Keene Summit Capital Partners in the bankruptcy case of the Archdiocese. The committee represents the more than 220 plaintiffs who have filed sexual abuse lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church. The attorney for the committee, Edwin Caldy, asked the court to allow for a supplemental real estate agent to seek higher offers for the property, saying he doesn't believe the property was marketed robustly. Archbishop Michael Burns, in a message to the island's Catholic faithful, noting that the abuse of children by priests has played a role in the Catholic faithful's views on abortion. Burns wrote in his message that as an island of predominantly Catholic residents, some might expect that abortion would be practically non-existent. But Burns wrote that over the past several decades, there has been a steady development of what the Bible calls hardness of heart, he said. We have hardened our hearts even to the point of tolerating the notion that were an aborted baby were to survive delivery, the doctors should make the child comfortable until they have died. In the judgment, we will be judged, wrote Burns, according to how we treat the least of our brethren. A level 2 alert warning of coral reefs is expected within the next month, according to coral reef experts. A release from the Coral Reef Resilience Program cites the latest outlook from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which warns that Guam's reefs are currently under a bleach warning, and we are expected to reach bleaching alert level 1 within a week to 4 weeks, and alert level 2 within 5 to 8 weeks. Alert level 2 is the highest. It means coral death is likely. Guam's Coral Reef Resilience Program is asking for volunteers to help keep track of the changes in the coral reefs by becoming Eyes of the Reef volunteers. Eyes of the Reef will be holding a training session for volunteers this coming Saturday, July 25th, from 6:30 in the evening to 7:30 at the Marianas Yacht Club. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:35. That's iConnect, Kevin. iConnect is a great place. You got the telephone and you're going, whoa, I'd like to spend less on my internet and mobile. Ray, you think they might be able to do that? I know they'll be able to do that. Give them a call at 888-8888.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agana Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Writers, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Let's see, what do we got to take care of? Just a reminder that there is a great salad. Get your own Berry Burst chicken salad at Wendy's every day while the supplies last, while they can keep track of all of the strawberries and the blueberries that they need to go in there, milking the cows that actually make feta cheese, and of course we got the grilled chicken in there. I like the grilled chicken, but I like something with a little bit more crunch and a little bit more bite. So when I have that salad, I ask them to change it out and use the spicy chicken sandwich breast for it, and they always do. So I recommend you do that. Plus we've got almonds in there and raspberry vinaigrette. It really is a great tasting salad. Try it for lunch or breakfast. Try it for breakfast today at Wendy's.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
I'm looking at the traffic gizmo this morning. If you get on the road a little bit earlier today, I think you should find it a whole lot more receptive to a positive driving experience. I'm looking at traffic southbound Marine Corps Drive up in Jigo, looking pretty good right now. A little bit of traffic moving northbound towards Anderson Air Force Base. No major problems in the Dededo areas. You make your way south of that, still looking pretty clear over at the intersection of 1 and 3 and 1 and 16. Doesn't look like you get into anything busy until you get over by the airport, and maybe a little bit of traffic around the end of Pali San Vitores, just as you get around the Hilton area if you're headed northbound. Southbound on that same road, looking pretty clear right now. Don't see anything in front of downtown Agutnia area and at Navy Hospital, scooching all the way down to Big Navy. Now, it's running clear right now. A recommendation, even if you are stuck in traffic, even if you are somewhere at a light and you're cursing it because it's either too long or too short for you to check your messages on Facebook, it's going to get worse. It is going to be going back to school pretty soon, so mentally brace yourself for that, why don't you? Also worth noting that if it's not raining on you in the north end of town, it will fairly soon, so watch out for that and drive to the appropriate conditions. It's 6:38 right now. Traffic on the point.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah. I tell you what, the shiny on Facebook Live is preventing me from taking a look at the table of contents that I pour over the news and the scripts and the internets and social medias on a regular basis every single morning. I mean, I get here crack of 4:45, something like that, and then that begins the process that starts the show so that we can get on the air at 6 o'clock. Of course, I got Kevin Kerrigan giving me the news, but I like to go over some of the big stories and bring them to you on a coherent and cohesive basis. That's the point of the whole table of contents on the Ray Gibson Show, but only I get to see that. But as usual, now you bring something up on the radio, and there's shiny coming in on the Facebook Live, and what I mean by that is the number of distracting things. And who is it this morning? Jackie's there, Carissa Flores is there. Ken LG says judges afraid of getting 22 letters of support from politically well-connected insiders. Thanks. I appreciate you bringing that up, Ken, because it was a thought that was rolling around in my head again yesterday as I was looking at a story in the Guam Daily Post. 23 write letters in support of the defendant in the drug case, including this one. Who wrote this? And this is what I'd like you to do, because as everyone here, I think, by now knows, I'm no angel. One of these days, I'm going to get in trouble. And so what I'd like you to do is, if you could, go and find the guys over at District Court and see if they can give you a copy of all of the letters that were written for Rick Sanchez. And the reason why is because I think some of these are pretty well-crafted letters. And what I'd like you to do in preparation for the day that I finally get busted for stepping out of line and doing something bad, wrong, harmful to the community is write a letter of support for me. So get the ones for Ricky, and where it says Rick, just replace that with Ray. Just do a copy and replace edit on the word processor. So it says here, Rick regrets his action and the choices he has made in the past, which has led him to this point in his life. Oh, this one written by Steve Ignacio. This the guy that runs a police department. Rick regrets his action and the choices he made in the past, which has led him to this point in his life, Ignacio said. So like I said, what you want to do is strike out where it says Rick, and when I get in trouble, I want you to say, Ray regrets his action and the choices he has made in the past, which has led him to this point in his life. Doesn't that sound good? This bump in the road in Rick's life, Ray's life, is a serious one and is not to be taken lightly, but I believe that Rick Ray has learned from his mistake and understands that he has to face the consequences of his actions. So what I'm recommending is that you don't give him any consequences. That's what you're saying there, Steve. But like I said, because it's so well written, I want somebody to be able to grab a copy of it so that when it's my turn, I'm in the hot seat, I'm in the boiling water. Guys like you and what did Tony Babauta write? I have since spoken to Ray regarding the crime which he has pled guilty to, and I genuinely believe he understands the gravity of his actions and is remorseful, and I'm hopeful for the court's leniency. Remorseful. So you just ma'asi. That's all you got to do is I'm sorry. Look at me. I'm remorseful. This is my public act of contrition. I'm confident that Ray knows the breadth and brevity of his criminal actions, and I'm just as confident that he is up for the challenge of rebuilding his life as a productive and law-abiding citizen in our community. And that's my classmate Darrow says that one in there. I don't know if he's using the right. I don't think Sister Estelle taught us to use brevity quite in this way. Kevin, how's that sound to you? You man of words. I'm confident that Rick knows the breadth and brevity. Isn't brevity like using short sentences where you want to get rid of the long ones? Isn't that about trying to figure out how he's using brevity in the context of keeping this guy out of jail?
In brief, that sounds about right.
Thank you, sir. 644. He's the smart one. That's all there is to it. 888-255-888-TALK. And so, yeah, do me a favor, as I said, whenever you see some of those letters that people are writing off and trying to help guys stay out of jail or get small sentences, something like that, just think of me. Think of me. Why don't you? We made the same deal when, you remember when Troy Torres was getting in trouble with the administration and folks in the administration, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, Eddie Calvo, and all those guys were like, wow, we really feel awful and hope he gets help. And, we loved working with the guy. He's really a terrific guy. Maybe he's just, needs some help right now. We pray God's guidance. Those were some really, really nice statements. And as I said then, I'm saying now, is I'd like you to hold some of those in reserve for me. Again, one of these days, I'm going to get in trouble. Today I hope is not that day. Although I got to tell you, it was kind of a spooky thing a couple of weeks ago. I get anybody that again knows me knows if you call me on a phone device, there is about a 99% chance that I'm not going to pick it up. Mostly because once I'm on the air, I like to mute the thing so it doesn't ring constantly, and so as a result of that, when I'm off the air, it's still muted and I don't hear anybody calling me, and that's why I almost never pick up the phone when you're calling. But anyway, so I got off the air a couple of weeks ago, and I'm looking at the phone. Oh, I missed a couple of calls, so I called one of them back, and dude was a process server at the court. And I'm going, what? What is it? Yeah, I'm not really sure why anybody would call you from this number. We're the process servers over at the court. Let me tell you what, let me ask around. If you don't hear from me in 10 minutes, don't worry about it. That's the longest 10 minutes of my life, I tell you what. Is this guy going to call me back? Was there one of those step out of the box moments that I had? I don't know. 888-255-888-TALK. Nate says, a simple find, replace on word and a signature. You've got plenty of friends, Rick. Ray. Tom Todgy says, good morning, everybody. Tom, I got to tell you what, some of the goodies that you delivered last week, I am absolutely loving, and I'm glad you gave me two because I shared one with somebody. 888-255-888-TALK. All right, we'll take a look and see what some of the other things are. One of my buddies, Brett, was watching the program yesterday, and we were talking about Brett, and he's the guy that was working on these 75th Liberation Challenge coins, and I posted up a thing on Facebook. What is it, me or challenge coins? I mean, it's not even a coin anymore, is it? I mean, there's a little bit of a round shape in there, but certainly a medallion is one of the things that these guys were working on. If you would like one of these, I think he's ordered another batch of 100 or so, and he's selling them for like $25, and that goes to support some of the marine activities here on Guam. Not fire range building or anything like that, just some of the other activities. But these are absolutely gorgeous. They weigh about a pound, and something if you are a challenge coin collector or a collector of this kind of memorabilia, you absolutely need to have. Celebrating and honoring the 75th liberation of the island seems to me that might be worth $25. The detail is incredible on these. And I won't be able to show it to you because I don't know if the detail on the camera will be able to pick it up. But it's got the insignias of the 4 branches. You see it? You can read them. They did an outstanding job on putting this together on the die and then filling it in with the colors. $25, a bargain, a steal. My recommendation is buy both. Then you can display the obverse and the reverse, which is saying the front and the back of the coin. He says with the significant amount of brevity. 647. So there's that in the table of contents that I wanted to talk about today. As I said, the title for today's show is Today We Are All Zumba Queens. And I was sitting at the couch yesterday taking care of some business, and all of a sudden, I thought a pretty interesting video crossed my desk and my WhatsApp, and I thought this one we can listen to because it sounds like there's a couple of matronly old Filipina ladies that are doing the narration, talking to each other about what it is that they see. If maybe you were at the Micronesia Mall, they were having their Zumba celebration, and the lady with the fluorescent pink top stepped up and strutted her stuff. The spirit of the Zumba took over. Of course, it's pretty clear she's never Zumbaed in her life. Yep. There she goes. It's almost, that's okay. Just bump into people. Oh, drop the purse. She's doing... Playing with the butt flaps and everything. Kicks off the shoes. Yeah. Hey, somewhere there's a husband or a boyfriend going, oh, good Lord, there she goes again. So she goes in and grabs her shoes, and I'm thinking this is it. This is the end of the show. But no, it's not. Hike up those shorts. This top, it's just making me sweaty. I'm going to take off the top. Oh, she didn't. Thank goodness.
Not sure those shorts can be hiked up much more, Ray.
I don't know about that either, buddy. Oh, it's just fun. This is... I'm in love with this because it's clearly somebody having a good time and showing it publicly at the Micronesia Mall. And the other is because it's not a drunk guy peeing on Route 8. That's the other reason. That is the if you're looking for something to smile about this morning, there's that. There's somebody that is just enjoying life and breathing it in and sharing it with everybody. We sure could use a few more videos just like that. Okay, I'm sure that somebody's going to say, "Whoa, it's a daytime drinking over at the mall or something like that." But I don't know. Somebody says, "Do you need help?" Maybe she needs some kind of help, and I said, "No, the only thing that she needs is a partner." Just a dancing partner. That's it.
Yeah. We've had Rambo Milk. I guess we can call her Xena Cream Cheese or something. I'm not sure.
That's fun. There's another piece of fun. And normally I'd save this for the small talk portion of the program, but what the heck? I don't know. It feels like we're already in kind of a small talk portion of the program, and it's largely because the biggest story that I've got in front of me right now is and I told you it was going to be the big story. It's a front page of the Guam Daily Post, exactly where I said it was going to be. New commander takes over joint military leadership on Guam. The story is inside the newspaper, but you've got a picture of the new guy who is Rear Admiral John Minani and outgoing Rear Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. In the picture, I don't know who the master of ceremonies is, but they're exchanging flags and shaking hands and say, "Okay, here's the keys to Comnav Mar, and don't mess anything up." So we'll see what happens. And, you know, it would be interesting if the guy had walked up and said, "Okay, well, I'm the new guy in charge, and from here on out, no whistling on the base, and you will departure here from left to right the way God intended, not right to left like Ray Gibson does it. So far, he hasn't made any overtures like that, and I don't know if he's going to, but we'll watch and see. But anyway, so and that's the big story. That's on one of the big stories that we've got for you in the news today. So it feels appropriate for me to be able to provide you with other fun and frivolity here this morning that might not necessarily make you crazy. I'm going to play another piece of sound. And it is a new song from a guy named Dickie Goodman. Does that name mean anything to you, Kevin? Dickie Goodman, 1970s. A big song he did back in the day was called Mr. Jaws. Anything?
Don't recall it. Play it for us.
Well, I don't have the Mr. Jaws, but he's got a new song. He's got a new song about with Donald Trump's voice in it.
Yeah, I remember the Jaws song. That was good stuff back in the day.
Well, it was cool the way he mixed up some kind of a news reporter narrative, and instead of actual proper spoken English interviews with people, he'd do drops from songs. Very, very clever guy and arguably one of the most successful at it. Well, he's got a new one now that I'm going to play for you right now. Some of the and I'll admit it, right? Some of the choruses are from songs that we generally play on Star 101, so I don't know any of them, but there's a couple of other drops and sound bites in there that I think are going to be relevant to you.
We are not going to interrupt this record. Yes, we are. The flying saucer has landed again. Washington. The Secretary of Defense has just said...
This is John Cameron Part 2. Gathered around me are several of the spacemen. Tell us, have you come to conquer the world? And now would you repeat that in English? Why don't you go back where you came from? We return you now to our studios.
Here is a news item from Washington. The president has just issued a statement to the spacemen.
We're going to be signing national emergency, and we are going to have the Space Force.
We switch you again downtown.
This is John Cameron downtown. Professor Cedric of the British Institute, tell us, how were the saucers able to land? This is John Cameron again. I believe the spaceman has a final parting word.
So won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes.
We return you now to our studios.
The spacemen have gone again, but look to the skies. The saucers will always be there.
It's the
Goodbye, Earth people. Nice to hear Dickie Goodman still around, got a sense of humor, and got the tools to make some interesting technology. It might be fun to dig out that old Mr. Jaws and play that, if for no other reason. Just fun to sit in the warm bath of nostalgia. Good morning, John Ray Uggan is on. Frankie Gutierrez is there. Ismael says this is what Shoshana was saying to the new guy. Here's the keys. Don't forget to water the tree. Nice. Andy Camacho, a talk show host, Gibson named Ray, helps us to start a new day with some news and some laughs, some political gaffes. 3 cheers now. Let's all shout, hooray! Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Rico Blancaflor, his comment, the 2 PP dudes are nincompoops. Thank you very much for using our approved vocabulary
Actually,
today.
they're nimcompees.
Nincompoopies. Joyce Bomba with 3 thumbs up here today. Where's the poll? Great spirits is Pam Duvall. James Tillman's online. Enrico Blancaflor and Carmen Mendiola Pereira says, Buenas from Santiago de Compostela in Spain. Carmen, you know what you need to do? I thought Uncle Robert might be online this morning, so you might want to see if you can message him and see if let him know what people are doing in Santiago de Compostela in Spain for the 500th centennial of Magellan and his almost circumnavigation of the globe. Of course, in what were the name of the ships? The Santa Maria and the Pinta and the Nina?
No, those were Columbus.
Sorry, they all run together in my head.
Yeah, Magellan's ship was named George.
And they're all the dealers in smallpox, right? Decimators of populations. Where are we now? There's just some crazy stuff going on online. You're going to need to get to Facebook Live and see what's happening there. All right, other items in the table of contents. There got to be something else that is going to be happening. Oh, we're making a big deal about the octopus guys, and as we should, I think, in this community where we have certain expectations of decorum and what's the short word? Civilization. I went running yesterday with a friend of mine. She said, listen, I want to do about 3 easy miles. How's that sound? And I said, great. It sounds wonderful. And since she used the words 3 easy miles, when she asked me if I wanted something to drink, she was thinking maybe, I don't know, water or a Gatorade or something like that. I said, what kind of beer do you have in the fridge? So she treated me to a beer, and then we went and did the 3.5 easy miles. And man, I could feel the pressure on my bladder. And right about where the pressure on my bladder was at the bottom of John F. Kennedy Hill. There's not a whole lot of places to duck into and relieve. And you go up the hill, Mesclados over there. You keep going. You got DPW. You got Kmart, Triple J. You got all these places. And I'm going. There's no place for me to go. And I thought, that's all and you know, it was very urgent as I passed by Happy Landing Road, but I knew better than to go and do anything down there, because I know the cops are already watching Happy Landing Road looking for exactly that kind of thing.
You could have told him your name is Raymond Yogurt.
Rambo. Call me Rambo. Rambo Gibson is the name. And you might be wondering where it was, and I don't know that I want to tell you, because the proximity to a school was, I don't know, I could probably get in trouble just for mentioning it, so I think I better leave that conversation there. But suffice to say that we will all, I suppose, have our Rambo Pui octopus moments, and just kind of try to get out of the way, or don't drink beer before you go on short, easy runs.
And in my attempt to educate us further, 4 of the ships that were in Magellan's fleet, the flagship Trinidad, San Antonio, which was actually the larger ship carrying supplies, the Concepcion, and Santiago. There was another ship that doesn't mention it, though.
Okay.
I guess it was Junior.
The ship we don't refer to. James Howard says, talking about that song, Space Force. Yes, this is my vindication. Thanks, Ray Gibson, who's laughing now. Yes, and we'll do some more of that as the program continues. Lots to talk about, and whatever ideas that you can come up with as well. Radio station is KUSG. Gutnia 93.3 is the point. This is Ray Gibson. More from Fox News in just a second. Kevin Kerrigan with all the big stories, and Jerry Roberts is coming in for the extra point. That's ahead right here on The Point.
Funds for first responders. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The Senate this afternoon approving a measure designed to help 9/11 first responders and their families. Fox's Jared Halpern's live on Capitol Hill.
A 97-2 vote in the Senate gave final approval to legislation extending a September 11th Victims' Compensation Fund through 2092, essentially a permanent fix for a fund facing expiration and depletion.
It should never have taken this long to pass this bill and make it permanent. It should never have been a question.
New York Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand speaking as dozens of first responders, their families, and advocates watch that vote in the Senate chamber. With the House signing off on that legislation already, the funding bill now heads to President Trump. Rich.
Jared, the Senate today confirming former Army Secretary Mark Esper as the new Secretary of Defense. He replaces Jim Mattis, who resigned in December. President Trump today filing lawsuits to block disclosure of his tax returns.
The president's suit names the House Ways and Means Committee, controlled by Democrats, New York Attorney General Letitia James, and the New York tax official. The president alleges the committee is working with New York State to get his state returns after the Treasury Department denied access to President Trump's federal returns. In the complaint, the president's attorneys say the committee's reach is limited to federal taxes, and no legislation can come from a request for his state returns. The Ways and Means Committee also has a pending suit seeking those federal returns.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Former Special Counsel Robert Mueller requesting a longtime associate appear alongside him when he testifies to Congress tomorrow. Mueller has asked that Aaron Zebley, his former chief of staff, and his top aide on the Russia investigation accompany him at the witness table during the hearings. Republicans are opposed to that request. This is Fox News.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Authorities in Canada say 2 missing teens are suspected in the murders of an American woman and her Australian boyfriend, along with another man whose body was found near their abandoned vehicle.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police thought 19-year-old Cam McLeod and 18-year-old Briar Schmigelski were missing. Their car found abandoned and on fire, but now they say they're suspects in the death of a man whose body was found a mile from the vehicle and suspects in the murders of American China Deese and her Australian boyfriend Lucas Fowler. They were found shot to death on a highway.
Investigators have also been able to confirm that Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski have left British Columbia and have been spotted in northern Saskatchewan. We believe that they're likely continuing to travel.
Sergeant Janelle Choyette says the public should consider the teens dangerous. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
South Korean officials say their Air Force jets fired hundreds of warning shots today after Russian military planes twice violated airspace over the country's east coast. The aircraft included 2 Tupolev bombers and reconnaissance aircraft. Russia denies the South Korean claims. FBI Director Christopher Wray says China might be the biggest cyber threat to the U.S. right now.
We have, as we speak, probably about 1,000 plus investigations all across the country involving attempted theft of U.S. intellectual property, whether it's economic espionage or counterproliferation, almost all leading back to China.
Wray testifying today before the Senate Judiciary Committee. A driver in Australia has been charged after methamphetamine valued at more than $140 million was found inside a van that crashed into police cars outside a Sydney police station. That van was stopped about an hour later in a nearby suburb where 602 pounds of crystal methamphetamine was found inside. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Writers, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Biba Guam. As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community. From offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly holiday service, Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. In Superior Court yesterday, 32-year-old Julie Salas Gaines Balahaja pleaded guilty to charges of conspiracy to promote major prison contraband and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with the intent to distribute. Both are first-degree felonies. However, according to her plea agreement, she will serve no time in jail. Balahadja was arrested December of 2017 after attempting to smuggle drugs into the Manilao prison for her inmate brother, Peter John Salas-Gines. She was found carrying an unspecified amount of marijuana and 1.5 grams of methamphetamine. "I'll take the plea," said Balahadja to Judge Anita Sokola. Under the terms of the plea agreement, Balahadja was given a 3-year suspended sentence. "It's such a sweet deal," said Judge Sokola, "but the statute does give leeway to first-time offenders," said the judge. A real estate and investment banking firm in New York City has placed the old Axion Hotel in Jonia on the auction block in the Archdiocese of Agana's search for a bidder willing to pay more than $5.6 million for the property. The official committee of unsecured creditors hired Keene Summit Capital Partners in the bankruptcy case of the Archdiocese. The committee represents the more than 220 plaintiffs who have filed sexual abuse lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church. The attorney for the committee of creditors, Edwin Caldy, asked the court to allow for a supplemental real estate agent to seek higher offers for the property, saying he does not believe it was marketed robustly. District Court Chief Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood approved the request to hire Keene in a hearing last Thursday. A notice of the auction was posted by the company on its website and on other sites over the weekend. The deadline for submitting bids on the property is August 8th. The $5.6 million minimum bid required matches the offer already submitted on May 30th by an investment group led by Dr. Saeed Safa, a Tamuning renal physician. We'll have more news after this.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Archbishop Michael Burns, in a message to the island's Catholic faithful, says that the abuse of children by priests has played a role in the Catholic faithful's views on abortion. As an island of predominantly Catholic residents, some would expect that abortion on Guam would be practically non-existent, wrote Burns in his message, but over the past several decades there has been a steady development of what the Bible calls hardness of the heart, he said. The decades of sexual abuse of minors by certain members of the Catholic clergy, said the Archbishop, has played a role in people turning away from Catholic teachings. A Level 2 alert warning of coral reefs is expected within the next month, according to coral reef experts. That's the latest outlook from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which warns that Guam's reefs are currently under a bleach warning, and we are expected to reach bleaching alert level 1 within a week to 1 month and alert level 2 within 5 to 8 weeks. Alert level 1 means coral bleaching is likely to occur. Alert level 2, the highest, means coral death is likely. Guam's Coral Reef Resilience Program is asking for volunteers to help keep track of the changes in the island's coral reefs by becoming Eyes of the Reef volunteers. Volunteers can help report coral bleaching and outbreaks of coral-eating crown-of-thorns sea stars. Eyes of the Reef will be holding a training session for volunteers this coming Saturday, July 25th, from 6:30 in the evening to 7:30 at the Marianas Yacht Club. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
7-11 this morning, partly sunny skies today, Kevin, with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Winds out of the east 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming lighter. Tonight, highs near 89 degrees and overnight lows of about 78 degrees. And just when we need the radar most, on a day like today where we are expecting all kinds of weather coming in from the eastern side, they've decided that, nah, you don't need it.
Yeah, right there at the end, too. But we do have some showers coming on in from the southeast, so I expect that. That's at least what we could see towards the last clip or two of that radar. I'll check on the radar status message here in another hour or so and find out just what the heck happened. That's really what we can expect over the next couple of days. Looking at the satellite, that can actually tell us better about what's going on out there. We have a weak trade wind disturbance. It's passed on through. Actually, most of it passed through last night. Got plenty of rain overnight. Got another disturbance off to the east of us that'll be moving through sometime, I'd say this afternoon and tonight, and then another one behind that. So basically what it means is right on through Friday, we can expect a chance of these numerous isolated showers and an occasional thunderstorm. Otherwise, no major weather systems out there. 91W way off to the northwest. It's going to move away towards Japan. Nothing down the line showing any signs of development, so at least we don't have to worry about that.
That's good news there. 7:13 or so, and that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Get a free Polar Pop, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
It is the summer of Jeep at, where's this at? Oh, Cars Plus up in Mighty. Sale ends July 31st. Grand Cherokees, regular Cherokees, Compasses, and those Wranglers at prices you're going to love. Financing as low as 1.99%. Starts with a test drive at Cars Plus in Mighty. Solar and battery storage now available to Guam homeowners like you. 632-2613 is the number for Micronesia Renewable Energy. Call them for a free consultation. The morning show on The Point brought to you by American President Lines, global presence with a local home. And if you're thinking about happy hour, stop right now. I'll tell you, just Ruby Tuesdays, that's all you got to think about. They put together a fantastic deal Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all day on Tuesdays. Select beers, wines, sangrias, and an RT Tipsy Palmer, a Ruby Relaxer, $5 or less. $5 appetizers, too. Check them for happy hour tonight at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
The Ray Gibson Show, bringing you closer to the action. This is The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
It's a quarter after 7 o'clock in the morning, and the reason why I've got, Gabby Westbrook Patrick's picture up on the screen here is because there's some guy, who is it John Ray, that wanted me to get more women's pictures up on the program. He says, sexist mo. Only man faces. Bruce fan the show. No, John Ray Huggins said that. And so we take requests here at the radio station. You want me to riff on something in particular, just put it down on Facebook. Send me a WhatsApp at 988-5874 or send me an email. It's funny, as I was thinking about this the other day, it's amazing how little I check the email anymore. Frankly, the only time I get emails from people is if they're soliciting business or sending me bills or letting me know that something worked or didn't work or something like that. There's very, very few actual business emails that I get. I find that more often I'm communicating on WhatsApp because it's more immediate. You can tell when I've received your message. You can tell when I've read your message, and I think that's why people like to communicate with it that way. And I'm the same way. If I get blue check marks and I have not heard from you in the last, 30 or 40 seconds since you've read that message, what's going on? Why are you ignoring me? Why do you hate me so? What's that? 716-888-8255-888-TALK. So we go back to what we're up to here in the studio, and that means that Jerry Roberts is in there, and we're going to be hanging out and talking about the extra point and all of that stuff. Good morning, Jerry. How you doing there?
Good morning. How are you?
I got your pictures back on the thing. I've got your camera working again.
Thank you very much.
I told you I would.
Let me see it.
I have those skills.
You are a man of your word.
Yeah. So there you are, and then I can put you in just the part where it says Jerry Roberts and the extra point and all of that kind of thing here on the program. Quick question that many people might be wondering if there's actually a positive human benefit for hitting the snooze bar. I'm guilty of it, have been guilty of it in the past, where I just go 5 more minutes, Mommy, 5 more minutes, and I'll get up and get ready for school. I swear to God. And so you hit the thing. The truth of the matter is, according to experts, there is probably no human benefit to hitting the snooze bar. It's not going to give you, it's not going to make you feel any more or less rested than you would have if you'd have just gotten up in the first place.
It's psychological.
For me, it actually works against what I'm doing because I have kind of a tight schedule when I get up in the morning with the things that I'm doing for myself, the cat, and everything else. So that 5 minutes can actually make it to where I'm running late. So, no, as soon as my clock gets going, I go.
Yeah, well, I'd used it in the past, less and less anymore these days, just because it's the way it works is my phone is in the charger over there.
Right.
I like to put the phone away at night, so I'm not tempted to stay up all night and look at social media.
That's what I do.
So so that's how I do that. So it's not a question of hitting a snooze bar. I got to get up to turn off the alarm to begin with.
That's exactly my thing. Yeah, mine's across the room where the computer is, and when it goes up, I got to get up to turn it off.
It's like that. 7:18 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. One of the other things about the personalities in this room is that, man and boy, we have all been in the broadcasting game for more than a couple of minutes, and we'll remember the last time Bohemian Rhapsody was a hit. I want to say, Jerry Roberts, from back in the day when you were on the radio back in the 1970s, and Queen first came out with Bohemian Rhapsody. That was the first time it was a big hit song, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. And then you were around when it was big on Wayne's World, right?
Well, I was around the first time, too. I just wasn't in radio.
Well, Wayne's World was, what was that, in the 90s or something like that? That was a big part
then my
of
kids
the
got
movie.
to learn it.
The kids, that's right, the kids get to learn it. And now it's famous because of the Freddie Mercury biopic that they came out with. It's one of those songs that just a number of times it has been a big worldwide top seller. It has gotten a new award. Bohemian Rhapsody hit 1 billion views on YouTube. 1 billion. Now, it's not the first YouTube video to hit 1 billion, but it is the first of the music videos released before the 1990s to get that kind of milestone.
Okay, so that's almost as many views as you get in the morning.
Almost, not quite, but I don't have the gravitas of Freddie Mercury and what were considered to be just a bunch of long-haired rockers. But when you start looking at the biographies of these guys, they're all music students from a long, long time ago, and they're all like MIT dudes or something like that. Anyway, 7:19 in the morning. About time to take a look at what happened on the market. I don't have, because I was busy playing around on social media instead of hitting the snooze bar. I will get you the numbers on Tappas and West Texas in a second. The S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow Jones Industrial Average just banging today. 27,349. Dow Jones Industrial Average picks up 177.29 points. NASDAQ at 8251, closing there at 47 points higher. The S&P 500 green at 20 points, with an additional 20 points, closing at 3,005. That's where that one ends up today. FTSE is up. Nikkei is up. Hang Seng is up. Shanghai is up. All of the markets are absolutely just looking pretty terrific today, and that's not bad. Unfortunately, oil is also up. 57.17 for a barrel of West Texas crude, and that compares to $55.30 or so from where it was trading yesterday or the last couple of days. 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, I'll get you Tappas here in a couple of minutes, plus some other interesting things about YouTube that you may or may not know. This will affect your children. What kind of warning is that? Something about YouTube and it will affect your children. Stand by for details on that. It'll bring it to you right after Jerry Roberts and this morning's Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
What does it really cost to replace a key worker? Many managers and business owners don't know. I'm Jerry Roberts, and today we'll throw out some facts about the true impact of losing talent. That's next on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
I think today's Extra Point is going to open some eyes and maybe drop a few jaws. The subject of the true costs of replacing workers is very much misunderstood, and I'm going to bet that includes the majority of those in charge of doing the replacing. Let's get to it. These are the factors that go into determining the expenses involved in hiring and getting someone ready to perform. Number one, the cost of attracting quality job applicants. This is not limited to running newspaper ads or on internet job boards. This also includes the time it takes for staff to go through resumes and applications. Thank you. And applications to come up with a list of potential candidates. Following that is the vetting process. Then interviews, which might include chunks of time given by one or more managers. Finally, the decision is made to offer someone a job and you hire them. Number two, onboarding the new worker. This might include orientation, leading them around to meet people in several departments. Perhaps this is done by the HR manager and the direct supervisor. Third, training. Is this coming from the supervisor or another member of the team who might have to sacrifice their productivity for a day to conduct the training? Or must the training go on for multiple days? Fourth, productivity cost. It's likely the new worker will require time to match the productivity of the former employee. This number is often in the thousands, even the tens of thousands of dollars. Fifth, mistakes and problems can be expensive while the new worker is learning. And last, engagement or relationship cost. This relates to the lost production from others who were used to dealing with a departed worker. This is a two-pronged expense. There is often a real dollar cost and then the frustration factor of getting used to the new employee who may perform differently than they're used to. The reality is that it's a simple issue to figure what it costs to attract candidates and hire one of them, then conduct the onboarding and the training. However, when it comes to lost productivity, customer mistakes, and the impact on other workers, it's difficult to pin down the real numbers in terms of dollars. Trust me, even though it's harder to count these costs, it's definitely coming out of your wallet. The tab to replace an experienced worker is easily thousands of dollars. Someone with a specific certification or training could cost over $100,000. A senior manager might be twice that, and a CEO, even in Guam, could be much, much more. Yes, I know some companies do it on the cheap, and others don't replace workers at all, forcing the remaining employees to pick up the slack and do more without additional pay. For most, the annual cost of replacing talent is stiff and can be reduced with an intelligent retention effort. If you're not doing it, and not doing it now, I suggest that you get started. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
I always thought it was just the equation of the big equation, or the big factor in the equation was retraining the replacement for that key employee.
Think of what's happening during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships can be lost. Clients don't have confidence, perhaps as much confidence in the company.
Well,
as
who's
they used
training
to.
the guy is probably another key guy.
Depends.
So you got
would
two
hope.
guys. You got two guys that are distracted, and one that's not ready for the job, and the other that's training somebody for the job. And
Well,
those two costs are significant because they aren't. Neither one of them is doing the job that they're supposed to be doing at the time.
At the time,
Yep.
it takes time to ramp them up. In the meantime, contracts renew. They may not renew.
Mm-hmm.
They may renew at a lower price. There's impact up and down the line, the chain from.
So just
people
never
that
let
leave.
anybody leave. Just indentured servitude. You have to stay with me. I know secrets about you. You leave me, your wife will know those secrets too.
Well, there you go. But the better thing is a retention plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that works to keep people wanting to be in the employment. And that takes time, and it takes a little bit of money sometimes.
You know, I'm thinking about the guys over at Morico. You want to talk about a retention plan. How about ownership in the company? And they've gone through that process and have provided opportunities for longtime employees and people that have got the sand in their pit to be able to stay and be owners in the company. So it's hard to walk away when you've got equity. I mean, you love your job, you love the money, you love the boss, you love the people you work with, but at the end of the day, what kind of equity do you have in the program? And when you've got a stake in the game, it makes it so. Yeah, I'll stick around. I'll stick around a little bit longer.
It's one of the primary reasons that people go into that.
Yeah,
employee ownership of companies.
Yeah, and like I said, Morico is doing it right now. And if you're looking at the shop and you're looking at the shop and you're looking at your children, realizing they have no desire to do whatever it is that you have been doing for the last 35 or 40 years, and you don't want to just leave it to somebody else or spin it out to the next available guy, it might be worth having that conversation with your employees, saying, "Hey, listen, when I'm gone, maybe this is something that you guys would like to keep going."
You know, the traditional plan in Guam among sole proprietorships or small business, well, the idea was to find one person, find somebody like a Ray Gibson, who's a hard charger and wants to get out there and make something of himself and get him and
notice he
nurture
didn't
him.
say Ray Gibson. He said somebody like Ray Gibson.
Yeah, there you go. But find someone that wants to stay and wants to build something and make some money. And then eventually, hopefully they will hang around long enough where you can sell them the business. And maybe that might be over a period of time, right? A little bit of stock now, a little bit of stock next year. Yep. And after 5 or 10 years, they own the company and you can retire. But that's kind of how it was done here for a long, long time. And now there's not so many people who want to hang forever.
Well, what's going to happen when the millennials and that generation takes over?
That's
they're the ones, and they say it themselves. I don't want to do the same thing. I might do this for 5 years or as long as it's interesting, and then after that, I'm going to go on and do something else.
So that means you have to have an exit plan. If you have a business, that means the exit plan today is more important than ever because people aren't likely to stay very much as long as they used to.
The way we used to do it back in the day is just burn it down for the insurance money. If it works for you, if you got a really good relationship with your insurance company, it might be something worth talking about between you and members of the board.
Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil.
Am I lying? Did I say something that was never, ever true on Guam?
Your Honor, I had no idea what the man was talking about.
Appreciate that. Got a note from a guy who just sent me a video. All right, I'll take a look at the video. In the meantime, we got to jump into headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Kevin Kerrigan, good morning, and thank you, Jerry Roberts, for the extra point.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines for the Guam Daily Post this morning, the Guam Environmental Protection Agency is looking into reports that firefighters at the Guam International Airport sprayed firefighting chemicals into a jungle area beyond the fence line at the airport. Videos obtained by the Guam Daily Post show a firefighting truck discharging a dry white substance into the area. Spokesman Nick Lee acknowledged the Guam EPA has also received copies of that video on the same day that the agency submitted a request to Airport General Manager Tom Atta to look into the dumping of water from containers that were once filled with the firefighting suppressant chemical AFFF. EPA regulators have asked for a site inspection and interviews with all personnel involved with AFFF operations and an inspection of AFFF storage facilities and equipment. Lee said that the airport has been cooperating. A real estate and investment banking firm in New York City has placed the old Axion Hotel in Jonia on the auction block in the Archdiocese of Agana's search for a bidder willing to pay more than $5.6 million for the property. The official committee of unsecured creditors hired Keene Summit Capital Partners in the bankruptcy case of the Archdiocese. The committee represents more than 220 plaintiffs who have filed sexual abuse lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church. The attorney for the committee of unsecured creditors, Edwin Caldi, asked the court to allow for a supplemental real estate agent to seek higher offers for the property, saying he does not believe the property was marketed robustly. Governor Lulian Guerrero signing into law 3 charter school-related bills. Senator Talina Nelson's Bill number 107 extends the allowable period for a charter school to obtain accreditation from 5 to 6 years and requires the school to maintain a minimum accreditation status. Nelson's other bill, number 106, was also signed by the governor. It removes the Guam Department of Education's responsibility over the budgetary and organizational needs of the island's 3 charter schools. And Senator James Moylan's Bill number 57 was approved as well. It lifts the limit on the number of charter schools that can be established in facilities not currently owned by Guam DOE. In her approval message to the legislature, the governor said charter schools have grown to give legitimate alternatives in education, and the legislation she approved reflects the positive momentum towards fulfilling the original goals of the Guam Academy Charter School Act passed 10 years ago. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
7:32 is the time. That's time for iConnect. Run by the nearest iConnect and ask them about saving money for you on plans like mobile and internet. And if you're in business, ask them about push-to-talk, too.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65%. For travel, back to school, a wedding, do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
IHOP has got something brand new we want you to try. They're all new pancakes over at IHOP. You're going to love these. 100% USDA choice, all natural black Angus beef. There we go. This the special kind of IHOP pancakes. Yeah, we know they're cheeseburgers. They're all kinds of burgers. And the cool thing about these is they're not expensive. You take a look at these burgers, and you think about some of the other restaurants that we've got you go to, and you say, I want a burger in a restaurant where you look down at the menu instead of up at the menu. That's usually about a $12 or $13, $15 affair. These are like $6.99. Find them at the Morning IHOP, please.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
It's time to take a look at the traffic gizmo and see where there's anything that's going to be messing you up here. Looks like up around Stumbo, a little bit busy, and so between there and the intersection of 1 and 3, that's mostly open. But when you get to 1 and 3, you might see some slowdown before you get to Marine Corps Drive. Not very pretty coming up Santos Hill and then southbound Marine Corps Drive. As you make your way past that and DPW and the Kmart area, you should be good all the way into the downtown Hagutnia Place. 8, 10, and 16, a little busy, but running fairly smooth. 10 and 15, pretty busy down there, and it looks like traffic up and down 10 and 15 are actually moving much slower in both directions. 4 and 10, that intersection is running slow. You'll see the intersection over by the Sinahanya Exxon 76. Sorry, guys. That's running slow, as well as traffic into the downtown Hagutnia area. Watching traffic been getting to build over by Navy Hospital and down over at Sumai. It has begun. It has begun. The slow traffic into and out of Naval Station. 7:35 right now traffic here in the Point.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
Yeah, West Texas was up this morning, and so is Tapas. Tapas the other day trading at $65.88. Today, $67.34. A little bit over 4 bits worth of an increase in the price of the oil that turns into the kind of gasoline that goes into most of our cars here. Keep that in mind as you're starting to plan your weekend and your routes and all of that. 888-8255-888-TALK. Sandra De Leon Guerrero online saying, hey, have a good time. It's nice to be here. Happy hump day to you. Ed and Karen Untalan. Richard Leon saying charter schools came about as a better option compared to GDOE flops. Just saying. Yeah, we all looked at those test score numbers, and we're thinking maybe there's a different way to do this because the way we've been doing it heretofore has not worked. It's just so weird, though. You start looking around at some of these charter schools, and they're out there, and you never hear about them. They just chug. They just, they open the doors and turn on the lights, and they got teachers and school books, and they just go. And then you got the Guahan Academy Charter School, and it seems like, it just seems like they're in the headlines all the time, and it always feels like John Fernandez has to go take back what has been stolen, what has been taken, and looking at all of the numbers that come through and some of their procurement saying, where are you guys coming up with this stuff here? It's, as I said, weird that there are a bunch of charter schools that you never hear about. They just go on and go on and go on. And then you've got others that seem to be in the headlines all the time. Maybe somebody needs to look into that. Commissioner Roy Gamboa online. Kenny Williams is there. James Howard talking about the cost of building trust when you lose that key employee. Doris Pasquale is there. Edith Camarillo. Zaywert Julian, Franco Julian is on time online. And then Carmen Mendiola Paredes. We had asked her in the last hour to keep us on, keep us up to speed on how they're doing with the 5th centennial celebrations for Magellan in Spain, and so she's going to do that for us. But she also was able to answer a question that we were asking: what was the name of that other ship? There were a bunch of ships that went out on the expedition, and the almost circumnavigation of the globe. Obviously, Magellan made his way out here, burned the villages, killed some folks from Guam, and then called us the island of Ladrones, and then got in another bunch of ships and then went out to the Philippines, where they said, "Oh, this guy's got to go," and kill him. But I think, Mike, did you have all of the names? You said there was one that was missing, and the lady online, Carmen, says it was the Victoria. And the Victoria, of all of the ships that Magellan had in the fleet, the Victoria was the only one that made it back to Spain.
Yeah, Victoria was the flagship. He had, in 1519, set sail with 270 men, 5 ships. They had the Trinidad, San Antonio, the Victoria, the Concepcion, and the Santiago.
That was nice. They named it after San Antonio, Texas.
I know, right? That was
yeah,
cool.
that's right. And,
so the
Queen
Trinidad
Victoria.
actually was the, as I mentioned, was the flagship. But and so once he got killed, of course, someone else had to take command of the flagship and get it back home.
I see. Okay. Interesting history there. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. 888-825-888-TALK. There is a very interesting piece in today's Guam Daily Post about what is going to be happening with the Redemptorist Mater. And for a while, it was kind of a seminary place for the archdiocese. They were bringing guys from all over the place to spend some time there and pray and learn about the priesthood and all of those kinds of things. But there was a once upon a time where it had I thought a going concern as a hospital, a hotel on the odd eastern side of the island. Bart Jackson's on the line. He's one of my hospitality game experts. Good morning, Bart. How you doing?
Half a day, Ray. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Happy Liberation.
Biba, happy Liberation to you. What'd you and the boys end up doing?
Oh, we played some tennis. We went out to eat. We had a nice, relaxing day.
I got to ask you again, as an F&B expert guy, I mean, you got to be excited to see what's going on with the F&B game around here. We got Crab Daddy that's opening up in the downtown Agатna area. We got the Red Lobster is opening up. Carabao is opening up. There's a couple of other places that are getting ready to put their open signs up. There seems to be a lot going on in the F&B game.
Yeah, there sure does. But, my own opinion is that the places that are really have a local feeling or have a real local orientation, those places are going to do better. The independents, the mezclas, picas, Three Squares. Those are the restaurants that I think are really doing well. And then even though some of the bigger name chains are coming in, I think for the most part, there are some exceptions, mind you, but I think for the most part, the owners who invested in those places have been disappointed.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
Well, that's good. That leads me to a couple. I might find a couple of those owners and find out how they're feeling, whether they've got some buyers or remorse on those franchises.
Yeah, I know that I couldn't get. I don't want to point fingers at anyone, but I couldn't get into Olive Garden for the first month, and now you could, as Donald Trump would say, shoot a gun off in that place and not hit anything. So I think that things run hot and run cold, and if a restaurant doesn't have something special about it, and in Guam that would be a special local feeling or a special relationship, special kind of food, just another chain, I think is a misguided effort by people who think it's wow, just if we build it,
they will come.
There's no field of dreams for restaurants.
Yeah, but there have got to be ways. You and I have talked about marketing before, but we'll get into the redemptorist modern conversation in a second. But I'm interested in how it is possible that we've got these FIT travelers out there, and there are times where it'll be just about we're going to close the kitchen, and here comes 20 Koreans and all in 5 different cars, and they're going to go sticking around. As you were talking about Moses a second ago, and there's a significant crowd of Koreans that will go there, and I don't know how, but they found out about some of these local gems and seem to enjoy them.
Well, yeah, so much of it is now online, and so much of it is word of mouth, and word of mouth is almost the same thing as nowadays as being online.
Yeah.
But also there are TV shows, and GDP has been very active over the years, and getting publications and bloggers and TV shows to come in and do filmings. And so, to me, the recipe for success is to create a restaurant that has a great resident following, enough of a resident following to do business every day, and then to add, to top it off with your tourist business. And, for us at Three Squares or Terraza, or I think that's the same kind of experience that the Mescla crowd, or like I said, Mosas, or even Beach and Shrimp.
Well, like I said, Poke Fry up there, it's just kind of crazy watching the change. And I think you're right. There are places they do business, they do great business just as a regular game, and then here come the Koreans or the Japanese tourists in there, and I find that they don't seem to have a problem with prices. They're not looking for the bargains. They're out there looking for the experience and the food.
I think that's right. And nowadays, we used to say that if someone had a good experience, they would tell 6 people, and if they had a bad experience, they would tell 10 people, and that was always encouragement to do the best you could. Nowadays, whether they like it or they don't like it, they reach millions of people.
Yes.
You just get online and you write a TripAdvisor report or a Yelp report for restaurants, and before you know it, you're ruined or you're doing great. And so location becomes important, and activity on the web becomes important, and parking becomes important. I look at some restaurants and I scratch my head and say, there's no way that enough people can park here to fill up the restaurant. And I wonder to myself, that's a really difficult choice.
I'm talking with Bart Jackson on the radio. Is my go-to guy when I've got questions about food and beverage and hospitalities. You're right. Parking is an issue. You can always tell when it starts to become an issue when they put a security guard over by the subway at W, where Tap House is. There's a guy. He watches you park and he watches. Make sure. Are you going to Subway? Are you going to the Izakaya? Are you going into Tap House?
Well, this is a real hotel problem too, and I had a discussion the other day with Jeff Schweitzer over at the Fiesta, having a challenge with people parking at the Fiesta for beach access. It's a great beach access.
Sure.
Everybody knows that. Fiesta parking lot is so great, but given the number of rooms and given now the number of FIPs who rent cars, it can fill up very quickly. The Hyatt now, of course, has a security guard right in the parking lot, and so as more and more FIPs come and more rent cars, and they are renting cars by the thousands, parking is such an issue. So for a restaurant, and of course all residents drive, right? And so if your parking lot can't accommodate enough cars, well, you can't be successful. I mean, that's the name of the game. It's not tour buses. Has nothing to do with tour buses anymore.
Yeah. Well, I remember when it did have to do with tour buses, but you're right. It's and I predicted something like this was going to happen a couple of years ago. I wonder how much time it's going to be before we get into a situation where we've absolutely positively got to start putting up some kind of parking meters or paid parking in a lot of places. 746 again, Bart Jackson. I was originally wanting to ask about the Redemptorist monitor, but just one more kind of freewheeling, just because it's us boys talking. How do you feel about food trucks? And it seems to be a blossoming industry and almost a democratization of the industry where, you know what, I don't need to find a restaurant and then build out a kitchen and build out a dining room experience or anything like that. I've got the recipes, I've got access to the raw product, I know how to turn that into a prepared product, and if business is no good here, I'm gonna hit the road and go over to Chamorro Village on a Wednesday night or Skinner Plaza on a Thursday night. What do you think about that new paradigm?
Yeah. I think it's quite interesting. You know, it's really big stateside. Food trucks have really become a thing stateside, and starting in LA, I think, and then branching out to the rest of the country. And it's a great low cost entry opportunity for folks who want to do more. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Moses kind of start out of a food truck and moved into a restaurant?
Can confirm.
There are limitations as to the kind of experience and the kind of volume that a food truck can do. And I'm not sure that people are satisfied with that level of volume. And so it's a stepping stone. It's a first step to potentially opening your own restaurant or doing something. But opening a restaurant is a big commitment.
Oh, boy.
It costs a lot of money. It's a big investment. And there's just so much to it. And if food trucks are a way to kind of broaden the experience and diversify the product and make the industry more interesting, I'm all for it. It's a different competitive set. You know, I think for example, at Three Squares, we don't look at food trucks as competition for what we do. They're just an added part of the industry. And now with 1.3 million, 1.4 million tourists, and an active and growing resident population, I think there's room for all good products. And so if a food truck is doing a good job and they're offering a different experience or a different kind of food, I'm all for it. I think it's great, and I think that there's a future for folks, but again, limited by the size of the kitchen, as it were, and limited to some extent by the number of people you can have working around and where you go.
Yeah, you can't put a whole kitchen's worth of people in a food truck. On the subject of the Redemptorist monitors, I said it was the Axion Hotel once upon a time, and I always thought it was an interesting place. They refer to it being in kind of a lousy shape these days and requiring a lot of maintenance. But if somebody were to pick this up, if our good friend Dr. Safa were to get this, would you recommend that he turn this into a hotel, or do you think maybe this might end up being the next one of Safa's dialysis centers?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very challenging location, and I think that there are some folks in and around Tumon and East Agana Bay who will tell you that the lack of a beach is very challenging. And I wonder who wants to stay there. You know, if you look at, for example, Leo Palace. Leo Palace is a wonderful resort, beautiful golf courses, incredible athletic facilities, but their challenge is why would you want to stay there instead of staying in Tumon or staying in East Agana Bay?
Yeah.
You know, what's the competitive advantage? So is it just price? Well, nowadays, just price means you're going to have to offer a very low-rated room. What's a low room rate? What's the reason why someone would stay there? I don't know. I don't know why someone would stay there. But if it had some, if it had a specific kind of product, if it was some incredible spa experience that you can only get there if you stayed there, that might draw people. Or, at one point we even talked at the Santa Fe, we talked about making it a long-term care facility.
Oh, interesting.
For older patients.
Well, how about a Betty Ford clinic or something like that, someplace where people can explore a 12-step program where you don't have that many distractions up to and including the beach. Hey, what's going on at Verona? Just because I'm curious, maybe you know, every time I pass by there, it looks like all the lights are off.
I don't know. I heard it's closed for renovation. I don't know from the owners, but I have heard that it's closed for renovation. And it's been a couple of months at least. I don't really know that much about it. But I do know that it seems to be closed. And they've been through renovations a couple of times.
Yeah.
But, we'll see how that goes.
They seem to have to renovate because they've been closed for so long and everything is moldy. 7:52. Bart,
that's the challenge.
I'm so glad that you're one of my resources when it comes to business stuff like this. I appreciate your time.
Anytime, Ray. My pleasure.
All right. I'll see you over at the Santa Fe place. Buy a Heineken Light.
You bet.
All right, man. 888-825-5888-TALK. 752, as I say, that's Bart Jackson. He's one of the guys that I go to when I need to know what's going on in the hospitality or the food and biz game. It's interesting that he said that maybe some of these new places that are open, maybe attached to businesses that we've seen in television ads and the cable TVs all these years, maybe not doing as well as they originally thought they did. Well, I don't know if we can put a purse store back in there. I wish him good luck. 7:52 in the morning. We were looking for this guy a little bit earlier to talk about the idea that maybe there needs to be a waiver on the laboratory requirements when it comes to marijuana here in this town. It's Commission member Will Parkinson. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Ray. How's it going?
You know what? I'm doing terrific and enjoying the development of our recreational marijuana program here on Guam. And I'm one of the guys that originally said, nah, we don't need any labs. There's going to be a bunch of guys growing marijuana in their backyard. They're going to know what's in it. They're not going to have to worry about it too much. But I guess there might need to be a call, especially when we start hearing from the guys over the FDA about THC content and CBD oils and with the guys over at the customs, they can open it up and they can do the test, and it'll test positive for THC, but it won't tell you how much is in it or what the level of concentration is of CBD oils in whatever this lotion is. So there are, I suppose, some people that, and including Andrea Pellicani, that said, no, I think we need to have something like this so we can ensure the quality and the potency of the marijuana that may get sold in this town. But until then, a waiver on the lab ain't going to hurt anybody, right?
Yeah, and there was a point that was brought up in the discussion that I agree with, and people were saying that their big concern was the concentrates in the edibles. And I agree with this concern, specifically because if you understand the science behind how cannabis is taken into the body, when you smoke it, there is a certain amount of receptors in your brain for cannabis. And so once you hit the limit and you filled it up, you cannot get any higher than that. You know, there is a limit on how much you could smoke and process into your body at a certain time. And so for that reason, I'm okay with a waiver on.
Oh, I wish I'd have known that when I was in high school.
Yeah, there's a waiver on. I'm okay with doing a waiver on flour because there is a limit on how much smoke can affect your body.
Okay.
The danger with cannabis comes in with edibles and when you consume it through your digestive system, because then it gets broken down and processed in your liver, and it gets around the limit on the receptors. So that's where people get into the trouble, is with overdosing on edibles. And so the waiver I'm proposing does give the board the flexibility where if they do so decide, they can put a waiver on flour, but still maintain it for everything else if they have concerns about edibles and distillates.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and because the thing is, like, my primary mission as the patient and consumer advocate is that I am all about patient access. if we cannot get the patient access to this stuff in the first place, everything we're doing is for naught.
Mm-hmm.
So the first mission is, can people go to a store and buy it? And then once we get to that point, I'm all for adding as many and as necessary regulations as we need to, but let's fulfill the primary mission of getting patients and consumers access.
So if there was a waiver in place on the flower, as you're suggesting, would that mean while the waiver was in place, while we weren't testing for anything like that on specifically that kind of marijuana, that kind of retail venture, it seems to me that the next step would be let's start opening stores.
Exactly.
Okay, well, when? What time? I can meet you at noon.
Well, if we get waivers, because the waiver plan, the route with the waiver is the only way that we possibly get stores open by the end of the year. Because as soon as we get a waiver adopted, we can start handing out grow licenses, and we have to have the rules are in place for medicinal already, and for the most part, the Rules and Regs Committee is gonna try to keep as much of the rules as we can uniform with the medicinal rules, so that we don't have any confusions in enforcement. We don't have GPD or whoever is doing some sort of oversight confused whether they need to follow medicinal rules or recreational rules. So for the most part, we're trying to keep it as uniform as possible to avoid confusion.
Well, there's going to be confusion and friction points early in the game. When we start talking about retail locations, how many licenses are going to be available, or are you just going to allow for anybody that can get a regular Guam business license to include cannabis flowers in their sales?
Well, that's still up for discussion. Personally, my own personal view on it is I want it as open and accessible to the public as possible.
See, this is why I voted for you. I'm so disappointed that it was just me and a few other people.
Oh, yeah, you and me both, brother. You and me both. It's always next time, right?
Well, here's what I don't want to happen. This is what I don't want to happen. I'd like it to be as much as free market as possible where it comes to this kind of stuff, because it's all about accessibility. I think it's going to come down to creativity amongst some of the people that grow it. I'd like to see as many growing licenses and established as possible. I think anybody that can get a regular Guam business license should be allowed to grow if they can meet some of the security requirements of the cannabis farms. But I'm also worried that everybody's going to say, okay, well, we're going to have cannabis, and there's only going to be 5 licenses for people that will be able to grow it for retail consumption. I'm going, well, no. Everybody ought to be able to do this.
$1 million in capitalization. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that, because I'm not into the game of picking winners and losers.
That's the point. There is no free market behind that, and it's going to end up being the same winners that we have around here, as opposed to new guys that might be able to bring some kind of fun innovation to retail when we can start talking about CBDs and THCs and smokable product.
Yeah, because cannabis at the end of the day is a house plant. A lot of people can do a lot of things with
a house plant. Hey, can I get back to you about 8:30, 8:40, something like that? You think you got a couple more minutes?
Yeah, as long as you give me right.
All right, appreciate that. Will Parkinson from the Cannabis Control Board is on the radio, and I like the way he's thinking. It sounds like we want to be the cannabis as little control as possible and make it so that we got a real retail opportunity here, which is what I think they were trying to do in the first place. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG had gotten you. This is 93.3, The Point.
Setting the rules. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Justice Department telling former special counsel Robert Mueller his testimony tomorrow before 2 House committees must remain within the parameters of his report on the Russia investigation, as some committee members raise questions about who else will testify.
The top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee put out a statement about the Democrats making a surprise ad for tomorrow's hearing, and the key line is buried at the bottom, saying that the move could jeopardize tomorrow's session. Aaron Zebley is counsel for Robert Mueller, and according to the Republican statement, could advise him privately and simultaneously testify alongside him. We are told the late ad may violate House rules about notification. And a lawyer also acting as a sworn witness is a gray area.
Fox's Catherine Herridge in Washington. This is a one-time business associate of President Trump's former national security advisor, convicted of illegally acting as a foreign agent. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, a Virginia jury says Bijan Kian is guilty of acting as an unregistered Turkish agent. Prosecutors say he and Michael Flynn acted to discredit a cleric wanted by the government of Turkey. The jury decided Kian helped Flynn target the cleric who Turkish President Erdogan said tried to orchestrate a coup in 2016. That attempt failed. Flynn pleaded guilty 2 years ago to making false statements in the special counsel's Russia probe. Flynn did not take the stand in Kian's trial. Kian's defense said he intended to register as a foreign agent, but was told that wasn't necessary. He's set to be sentenced October 18th, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. The Senate this afternoon passing the 9/11 victims' compensation bill.
We got our straight up and down vote. 97-2.
Recovery worker John Field. The measure passed the House earlier this month. Governor Cuomo calling on President Trump to sign it immediately. Wall Street at the close. The Dow gained 177. The NASDAQ added 47. This is Fox News.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
Get 2 Pepsi 12 packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K, take it easy. Get a Pepsi 12 pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K, take it easy. Get 2 Coke 12 packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K, take it easy.
Canadian authorities looking for 2 teenagers once considered missing, now considered suspects in the murders of 3 people, including an American woman who was traveling with her boyfriend.
China Deese and her boyfriend Lucas Fowler were found shot to death by a highway in British Columbia, and now Canadian police say 2 teenagers on the run are the suspects, 18-year-old Briar Schmigelski and 19-year-old Cam McLeod. Their burned-out vehicle was found abandoned on a roadway. China's brother British told Fox News it was bittersweet to see surveillance video of his sister hugging her boyfriend at a gas station before she died.
It feels like my sister is still going to come back and watch our dog for when we go on a trip, because that was the last thing I was texting her about, and it just doesn't feel like she's not there, and it's just so overwhelming.
He says the search for the suspects is delaying the family's ability to grieve. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Justice Department has announced it's opening an antitrust investigation of major tech companies. No specific companies were mentioned, but they use the terms search, social media, and retail companies, an apparent allusion to Google, Facebook, and Amazon. A beverage company executive says the school district rejected his offer to pay overdue school lunch bills.
The head of a coffee company says a Pennsylvania school district won't let him pay off more than $20,000 in overdue lunch bills. Lacombe CEO Todd Carmichael says he made the offer after the district sent letters to parents warning their children could end up in foster care if they don't pay their late bills. A spokesman for the Philadelphia-based company says officials at Wyoming Valley West School District say the money is owed by parents who can afford to pay. Child welfare officials criticized the letter, the school promising a less threatening overdue notice would be issued. Rich Dennison, Fox News.
The Miss America organization announcing this year's pageant will be held at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. In Superior Court yesterday, 32-year-old Julie Salas Gaines Balahaja pleading guilty to charges of conspiracy to promote major prison contraband and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with the intent to distribute. Both are first-degree felonies, but according to her plea agreement, she will serve no time in jail. Balahaja was arrested in December 2017 after attempting to smuggle drugs into the Manilao prison for her inmate brother, Peter John Salas Gaines. She was found carrying an unspecified amount of marijuana and 1.5 grams of methamphetamine. I'll take the plea, said Balahaja to Judge Anita Sicola. Under the terms of the plea agreement, Balahaja was given a 3-year suspended sentence. It's such a sweet deal, said Judge Sicola, but the statute does give leeway to first-time offenders, said the judge. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency is looking into reports that firefighters at the Guam International Airport sprayed firefighting chemicals into a jungle area beyond the fence line at the airport. Videos obtained by the Guam Daily Post show a firefighting truck discharging a dry, white substance into the area. Spokesman Nick Lee acknowledged that Guam EPA also received copies of the videos on the same day that the agency submitted a request to Airport General Manager Tom Atta to investigate another incident, the dumping of water from containers that were once filled with the fire suppressant chemical AFFF. EPA regulators have asked for a site inspection and interviews with all personnel involved with AFFF operations and an inspection of AFFF storage facilities and equipment. Lee says that airport authorities are cooperating. We'll have more news after this.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data2Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The U.S., China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data2Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. A real estate and investment banking firm in New York City has placed the old Axion Hotel in Jonia on the auction block in the Archdiocese of Agana's search for a bidder willing to pay more than $5.6 million for it. The official committee of unsecured creditors hired Keene Summit Capital Partners in the bankruptcy case of the Archdiocese. The committee represents the more than 220 plaintiffs who have filed sexual abuse lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church. The attorney for the committee of creditors, Edwin Caldy, asked the court to allow for a supplemental real estate agent to seek higher offers for the property, saying he does not believe that the property was marketed robustly. District Court Chief Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood approving the request to hire Keene Summit during a hearing last Thursday. A notice of the auction was posted by the company on its website and in other sites over the weekend. The deadline for submitting bids for the old Axion Hotel is August 8th. The $5.6 million minimum bid matches the offer already submitted by an investment group led by Dr. Saeed Safa to Mooning Renal Physician. Archbishop Michael Burns, in a message to the island's Catholic faithful, says that the abuse of children by priests has played a role in the Catholic faithful's views on abortion. As an island of predominantly Catholic residents, some would expect that abortion on Guam would be practically non-existent, wrote Burns in his message. But over the past several decades, there's been a steady development of what the Bible calls hardness of heart, he wrote. The decades of sexual abuse of minors by certain of the Catholic clergy, said the Archbishop, has played a role in people turning away from Catholic teachings. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Right, Mike, now with a look at our weather.
Partly sunny today, Kev. Isolated showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Winds out of the east 10 to 15 miles an hour. Should be lighter by the time it gets to be sunset. Highs near 89 degrees today. Lows near about 78. Muggy and 80 when I got into the car this morning. That was my recollection of what was going on out there. We'll see if the weather radar guys have managed to set things right here and give us an opportunity to see what kind of weather we're in for the next hour or two. Mike, what do you see?
Yeah, it must have been a little glitch in the system earlier, just website oriented, because I'm getting a feed here on mine and we can see it here on the main screen as well. Looks like some heavier showers passing off just to our north. Some just rolled over the south a bit ago. That's really what we're going to be seeing throughout the day today and over the next couple of days, just these numerous isolated showers that'll roll on through. As things heat up this afternoon, some of these showers could turn into thunderstorms. That's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. But these are just weak trade wind disturbances moving on through as they usually do during wet season. So just a typical wet season end of the week.
Are you saying
ahead.
It's wet season? Is this the official pronouncement from Duke Skytalker and the Points Weather Center?
Well, the National Weather Service, yeah, they kind of said so last week. They were like, yeah, it looks like this is it. So, finally. I mean, but, it stayed dry
I wasn't
halfway.
feeling a whole lot of that. Like, I mean, when you say rainy season, I'm thinking of like biblical rainy seasons that we've had where, it's just inches and inches and inches of rain in a month.
Yeah, a typical week during rainy season's about 2 to 3 inches. And so that's kind of the pattern we're in right now with some of these showers. And but it didn't even start up until middle of July, which is really odd. Usually we're getting good rain by, 1st of June.
So let me ask this question then. Can I start burning trash in my backyard again?
Yeah.
If I were to be a trash in the backyard burning guy, could I do it?
Without fear of burning everything else down around you, it's probably a little less than what it used to be.
The mountain's not going to burn down.
Yeah.
The trees and the drying, it's not as crispy as it was before.
The fire danger is way down.
All right,
they're not even
that's what I'm
talking
asking.
about
That's
that.
what I'm trying to figure out here, because it's not for me. It's just my neighbors.
You're asking for a friend.
I got a neighbor. He likes to burn stuff. He likes to burn stuff outside. That's his whole thing. He doesn't like it, and it's amazing what he burns. I've seen this kind of thing at construction sites in the past where it gets to be the end of the workday and these guys just start piling up all of their construction junk and debris, and about the only thing that doesn't burn is rebar and concrete. Everything else that you find on the site is up for grabs when it comes to that. Look, 8:14 in the morning, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show here being brought to you by my pals Ron and Kim over at Security Title, Micronesia Renewable Energy. Security Title, by the way, if you've got complex real estate transactions, just admit it. You don't know what you're doing. These guys do. Find them and have them help guide you. Micronesia Renewable Energy, they're selling battery storage systems that are recharged with the power of the sun. 632-2613. Get you a free consultation. Also brought to you by American President Lines, APL, global presence with a local home. And the guys over at Ruby Tuesdays, where they're celebrating Days that end in Y with a great happy hour for you. 4 to 6 p.m. all day today, not all day today, 4 to 6 p.m. today, and Thursday and Friday and Mondays, all day Tuesday. Select draft beers, wine, sangrias, the Tipsy Palmer or the Ruby Relaxer, $5 or less. $5 appetizers, too. It's happy hour tonight at Ruby Tuesday.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fun and Mall Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
8:16 in the morning, 888-255-888-TALK. Remember, we've got my friends from Take Care Insurance, Greg Karabrock and the guys. Wendy's with the Berry Burst Chicken Salad. It's got strawberries, blueberries, feta cheese, raspberry vinaigrette on that. Grilled chicken that goes on the greens. Really is a fantastic salad. I want you to try it over at Wendy's sometime very soon, because the sale ends at the end of the month. Make sure you swing by Cars Plus up and mighty and see what they can do with you and Jeep family car. They got Cherokees and Compasses and Grand Cherokees. But when I close my eyes, and if you say Jeep, I say Wrangler. And they got plenty of those in all your favorite colors waiting on you at Cars Plus.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
Debbie asking, isn't burning all the leftover construction materials at a construction site illegal? Debbie, that's a very interesting question. I'm here to tell you that apparently nothing is illegal here on Guam. If you want to be one of the people that sneaks drugs into the prison and face felony charges, depending on who you make the best sob story to, it could be you get not even a slap on the wrist here. We're going to sentence you to 3 years. Suspend that. And you promise you won't do that anymore. Okay, I won't. You can get away with just about anything here. So burning stuff at leftover construction materials at a work site, I'm just not feeling any kind of enforcement on that. Hey, Paris Bloss is online. We'll always have Paris. Lady D, Denise Legaspi is hanging out with us this morning. I got all kinds of other folks. Pete Guerrero, Michelle Bloss-Tyron. Director Cho is online this morning. So is Renzo Osborne. Connie Tuncap, that's Connie Mayu. Ed and Karen Untalon. Kenny Williams, Commissioner Gamboa, and Scott Nelson are online as well. It's 8:18 in the morning. Before we get to sports with Blake, how about sports with Brad? Good morning, Brad Rizala.
Hey, Ray, good morning.
What are you doing there, buddy?
I'm still enjoying this beautiful island of Guam that you got here.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brad and I saw each other over at the Liberation festivities, and then my understanding is that you burned everybody by not showing up at Jimmy D's after. As you told everybody. No, was it Jimmy's that you were supposed to go to? No, it was the other night. It was me and you and Brett were supposed to get together for dinner and burned us.
You know, the funny thing about that, he asked me about grabbing breakfast, or grabbing dinner, excuse me. And I said, oh, yeah, sounds great. And then toward the end, like we were getting close, I was just getting out of the office, and I'm like, hey, when you said you got a bunch of people going, is it okay if I don't go? He didn't mention anybody who was going, but if he would have said Ray Gibson, oh, my goodness, I would have taken a day off.
Well, dude, you missed out, because I bought. I actually pulled out the credit card for this because I was feeling so groovy. And the other reason is because Brett gave me my challenge coin, my Liberation challenge coin. I absolutely love this, and so I bought him dinner and we're square.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, these are. It's a $25 challenge coin.
Yeah, I bet you spend more than that on dinner.
But they're not as expensive as it could be down the road because I didn't realize this until they told me. But there are challenge coins that people have from various generals and admirals and outfits and things like that that are selling online on eBay in the hundreds of dollars.
I have a whole stack of them. I've showed you one that we actually enjoy because I have one because my mom was in Guantanamo.
Yes.
And so she got me a radio Radio GTMO, so Radio Gitmo, and it actually doubles as a bottle opener, but it's a challenge coin bottle opener. But it makes it perfect. And the reason I say that because it has the big opening, so it makes a perfect keychain. So I just looped it around my keychain. It's harder to use when the bottle opener itself is looped around keys, so I don't really use it for a bottle opener. I have an actual bottle opener for that. But it is cool.
The Church Key Radio Gitmo coin prices. I'm looking that up right now. So when are you headed back home, or is anybody besides me asking that? Are people in Saipan going, "That's okay, Brad, you stay down there, buddy"?
Yeah, that's right. And the folks here are saying, "Hey, when are you leaving?" So I'm going to have to be somewhere in between. Maybe I'll just hang out in Rhoda.
Well, you can come by anytime you want. You can come
Watch
by
for
the radio
zombies
station
out there.
and
Zombies are going to start showing up in November out in Rhoda.
Kaz is doing his race out there, the Conquer.
Oh, man. So they had it in Saipan not too long ago also. I love when those guys do all that stuff. It's a great activity. It's especially when they bring it to Saipan. We're so thankful that they do it, and then we show up in droves, and it's really wonderful. And we get a lot of folks from Guam who fly up to do the race.
I was that close. The only I can't figure out how to get to Saipan without missing program days here. That's one of the things that we've got to figure out and do the calculus on. Is how is it possible that I can get to Saipan without missing a morning show, come back from Saipan without missing a morning show.
We set up a live remote at we'll work out at like a coffee shop or a restaurant or any one of your sponsors who you want to take care of on the CNMI side. We'll take care of that.
Macombo's still open? any bar that was run by Easy Black. Do we have anything up there that is still open where I can feel the ghost of presence of Easy?
Hey, how about that?
Hey, how about them? Yeah, let's hear. How about Manny? How about that Manny Pacquiao fight? That's cool because you can get a cold beer and herpes for like $5.
Yeah, not everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, hey, but to make a really terrible segue,
yeah.
What I wanted to do though, I had a really great time. It was my first Liberation Parade for Guam Liberation Parade. And I just want to say thanks to the whole community. What a lot of heart that I got to feel from the people of Guam. I got to walk up and down the whole parade route, not being in it, just to experience it and seeing the faces, the family, the community, and everybody. And what a wonderful experience it was. I mean, I got offered all kinds of food and drinks along the whole course. I mean, it was just it was amazing, and what a spectacle for the folks here and for the folks who come to visit.
So I'll see you next year.
Traffic was great.
Yeah, so I'll see you next year then.
This is going to have to be a staple in my in my life.
Yeah, it's an island-wide fiesta. There's no frowny faces. Everybody loved it. Even the lady that was arrested, running after these guys with the knife. I think even after that, after she'd calmed down, she says, all in all, it was a pretty good day.
Yeah, well, it really was a good day. I mean, it was. Well, I'm glad I got to bump into you and grab some ribs. That was excellent marinade. Whoever made those, and then I found the only other guy from Buffalo, New York, just happened to be out there, and just on a whim invited me over to Chow. So really great stuff.
I know a guy
glad
from
you had a
Buffalo.
good time. I'm glad you had a good time.
Buffalo.
Always fun talking with you. I'm going to get into my sports with Blake. In the meantime, you have a terrific rest of your stay here on Guam. You know how to find me, and if you don't know how to find me, my buddy Dave Torrey's brother Kin is back in town, and I'm told there's going to be a thing at Venue tonight.
That's great. Hey, Blake, be kind when you talk about the Bills, please.
Listen, I have the utmost respect for the Bills, and this is not a joke. This is not sarcasm at all. But the 4 losses in the Super Bowl back to back to back to back. I mean, that gets sympathy. It should get sympathy from every sports fan. Really should. Sorry that it happened to us twice.
Unlike Buffalo fans mostly, I actually have love for the Patriots, but my dad was saying he hopes that the Patriots don't make it to the Super Bowl this year because the only thing we have going for us in Buffalo is that we made it to 4 straight.
4 straight, yeah. And you harbored a couple of Hall of Famers at that time and not since, or not really before. But I was going to say I have more hatred for the Sabres only because, the early aughts and the late 90s, all the, the Stars and the Sabres had their back and forth, so.
Oh, I was at Game 6.
Oh, really? We're talking hockey, right?
I was
really?
Miles away.
Man, that was a good team too. That Sabres team that gave Stars fits for a few seasons. There was some fun battles though.
That team was an amazing team, just a powerhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And this is probably the most in-depth hockey talk you could have.
You're right.
And on the entire island, in the history of broadcasting, this could be it now. 8:25. I'm going to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon, brother.
All right, take care. Remember, the Laddie Stone looks an awful lot like the Stanley Cup. Maybe hockey started here.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to chew on that for a while.
New theory.
There we go.
Gotcha. I'll talk to you. 888-8255-888-TALK. Always nice to hear from Brad Rosala out there up in Saipan. We got a couple of minutes left for Sports with Break, though. There's a couple of sports, buddy, I think we need to encourage in this town. One of them is esports. Get guys that have got the skills to be able to do those wicked paddle things with their game controllers and play for international stakes.
Yeah, evidently knife and machete throwing should be big here, too.
That's beginning to get to be I want to say, a common sport in some bars and clubs. I mean, they've taken down all the big screens and replaced them with wooden targets that
tomahawks.
you throw axes at. Yeah, tomahawks.
So they actually have in Canada and the Pacific Northwest, they actually have craft breweries, like we talked to like the Tap House or, Carabao Brewing Company. It'll be a place like that. They make their own beer and all that stuff. And then on the side, they've got, instead of a shooting range, they've got a little axe course.
Yeah.
And they got courses set up, where you can kind of run through and, throw, or you can just stand like you're throwing darts and just throw and repeatedly hit the
Nothing
target.
says party like free-flowing alcohol and sharp objects.
Absolutely. Well, it looks as safe as, if it was me, this is safer than, I don't know, say a gun range.
You know who started that? You know who I think really kind of started that?
Kid Rock.
You know who really does that a lot? No. Jason Momoa, Aquaman himself. So, like, on Instagram for years, like, even before he was filming Aquaman, which was a couple years ago, he was always, like, he's got a course in his yard. He sets it up. He's always on his Instagram throwing axes in his backyard. He went on Ellen. He threw axes on Ellen. He went on Jimmy Kimmel. He threw axes on Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's thrown axes on Jimmy Fallon's show. So he's kind of taken the axe throwing to the mainstream.
Yeah,
Jason Momoa.
I think we ought to invest into something like this here on Guam, and we'll modify the tomahawk and say it's a Guam thing. Chief Kippur used to use something similar to this.
I ordered one. A throwing tomahawk. I don't have a target or anything. I don't really throw it, but it was only
everything's a target.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right?
Yeah.
But if you, but I have a. So it's a short, maybe like 2 foot long. The whole thing. And Amazon shipped it out. I think it was like $23 on Amazon.
Sweet.
$8.27.
Yeah. So we need to get that to be a sport. And we need to have more competitive eating sports. I saw this on the internet, and it's a $500 prize. Like Mescla's got this thing where they got the big burger you're supposed to eat or something like that.
Like man versus food competition.
Yeah,
style.
man versus food.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's a two-person thing. I'm looking at it going, what's so tough about this? It's two people, and you've got 2 hours in which to drink 2 32-ounce sodas. I would suggest maybe something else at 32 ounces, and devour between the two of you a 28-inch pizza.
How long? 30 minutes?
You got 2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours.
You get 2 hours for this. I mean, it's everything. It's a crust and all. And I'm going, it's 28-inch pizza. I mean, that's about the size of a car tire, right?
It's a big car tire.
No problem.
I mean,
half hour, plenty of time.
Because you think
it's
about
2 hours.
It's even bigger because the rappers boast about sitting on dubs, which is 20. So you're talking about 8 inches bigger.
Is there
than
an
that.
age requirement? Because when I was 22, that would have been no problem almost by myself.
That's
you drop it off in the college dorm.
Saying,
Right? Eat it, no problem.
So I'm going, and the prize is $500. They'll pay you $500 for this. And I'm thinking exactly the same thing. Maybe a little bit of recreational and don't eat breakfast or lunch that day, and we're going in there, and we will be loaded for bear and eat 28 inches worth of pizza.
If you get 2 hours, then you can go out and have a little recreational in the middle of the meal.
The Ninja Turtles could do it.
Oh, absolutely.
There's 4 of them, and they're big.
True, yeah.
They're big, and they love pizza.
Is there anybody on Guam that does 28-inch pizzas?
Oh, I'm sure. Because, I mean, there's a couple of, there's a couple of specialty pizzerias. There's a couple down in Tumon. There's Tommy's over in Agana. And I know that they make special, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure that they could. I don't know if it's on their menu, but I'm sure that they would. I mean, because they hand toss all their stuff.
Well, I mean, you got to have a pan. You got to have something to put it on. I mean, I know you can make a 28-inch pizza. Do you have something that you can put it on? And how big, 28 inches in one of the gas-fired ovens, things like that. So I just, who's got it? Because I'd like to take on this challenge.
The guy down at Hot New May, down in Epan, or even the guys.
The Hot New guys?
Yeah, or even the guys that drive the van that camp out down by Talafofo Bay, serve pizza to the surfers.
When I get to, next time I'm over at Crust, I'm going to ask the guys. I'm just saying, for food, man versus food, I think that would be something fun to try because it doesn't sound hard. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's something I'd regret the second, 5 minutes into it.
So I found this, and this led me to this. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm on their Instagram page right now, so you feel free, Ray, in your downtime to check them out. There is an actual Major League Eating. So check out Major League Eating. There's your Major League, just like the NBA or NFL for eating. Joey Chestnut, 12-time winner of the Nathan's Famous annual July 4th hot dog eating contest and currently ranked first in the world by Major League Eating, will be, listen to this, will be at the Mall of Georgia Hooters from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m.
Nobody knows what we're talking about. They just heard Hooters and said, what? What?
He's going to be there 12 hours straight on Monday, which apparently my daughter's birthday, Monday, July 29th, is National Chicken Wing Day. So Joey Chestnut will be at the Georgia Hooters from 11 until 11, taking down as many wings as he can in 12 hours. No set amount. He's going to eat chicken wings for 12 straight hours.
Wow.
And this is Joey Chestnut. He's the one who beat Kobayashi for the Nathan's hot dog. He's, like I said, 4-time hot dog eating contest at Coney Island, and he's ranked number one in the world.
What is he going to do with it? Is that just to set a standard? Is that to set a base here on what may or may not be able to be done?
You can enter to win free wings for a year by guessing how many wings Joey Chestnut will eat.
I see. Okay.
And you can also join in and watch him on Hooters.com/NCWD. So I guess it's just a whole big promotions kind of deal to give away some free wings and have get people in the seats. Kind of thing. Oh, hey, come look at Joey Chestnut eat.
They've got the Korean wings places here, and I love them. I love them to death. And you just get a whiff of it, and I'm automatically, and I begin to salivate. I'm salivating just thinking about it right now. And I've always felt bad leaving, knowing that I probably could have had more. I'm conservative. I go in there and with the box with 24 in it,
yeah,
and with
extra
the
spicy
pickles on the side, extra spicy, extra. Okay, and I always back off and say, no, I'll take the smaller one, and then it never fails. I'm finished, and I'm going.
You got to get more than the 10-piece, Ray, because even if you don't finish you have some for later.
I could have more. There's nothing wrong with it.
You can eat them cold. You can eat them lukewarm.
You can take them home and save them.
You can eat them in any way.
Korean wings are the best.
So good. It doesn't matter the temperature of them. As long as they're cooked already, you're good.
They're like chicken. This is like potato chips.
And
it's more meat candy.
There was one time when I walked in there and I looked at it. I go, I want extra spicy. He stopped what he was doing, looked at me, and goes, oh, you want extra spicy? And it was at that moment, and I go, yeah. And then I kind of walked away, and then I was like, dang it, I probably... Because the look he gave me was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, you think you... All right.
Should have settled for the slightly extra spicy.
And that was and I've had extra spicy before, and never before, never since has it been to the degree it was that night. It was in rare form. Good, but rare form. But rare
all right,
form.
Bob Kelly doing the math. A 28-inch pizza is equivalent to 4 14-inch pizzas.
Is that like a standard Domino's or Pizza Hut large or medium? How much is that?
Yeah.
Usually the larges that you get there is 16.
Okay.
So the 14 would be like, they usually do 16, 12, and 10s.
So it's
like
between
Domino's.
between a medium and a...
Yeah.
Yeah, but could 2 people eat 4 mediums?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. 4. That's 4 of them, though. Yeah, wow.
Valina Riarty, Val saying chicken wings are great. That's the understatement of the morning. How's everything going with the invasion on Area 671? Somebody sent me this morning. Apparently, this conversation about the raid on Area 51 is getting some kind of attention from the Pentagon and from I got. Let me see if I can pull this thing up here from my buddy.
It's getting attention from celebrities. I think it was Tyga or Travis Scott. One of the two said if they get 5 million likes, they'll perform at the Area 51 storming. Like a concert.
It's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. So I've got there's a picture that somebody sent me of somebody with a very, very concerned look on his face, very serious look on his face, and he's trying to explain the concept of Naruto running to a bunch of people in a room.
Well,
not everybody knows what Naruto running.
It's also Ninja Turtle running.
Exactly.
Yeah. So watch Ninja Turtles on Hulu, that version of it, and they also do it. So it's just back down and flat, head down, arms straight out like a lark, almost like those old 30s, like Studebaker hood ornaments kind of thing.
Yeah,
right.
If we'd had this in Vietnam, I think things would have gone differently. 8:34 in the morning. Hey, you better go because your chair's making too much noise. Yeah, that's all the time we got to spend with Blake Watson. Do we get any sports in there at all? No.
Well, Blake did talk hockey with Brett. So
For a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
We won the Marianas Cup. Guam beat the NMI 6-2. U19, U23 men's competition.
Okay. Well, there will be a competition coming up involving food with a great outdoorsman. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post sent me a story about Chef Peter Duenas from Mescla to battle 15 chefs from around the country for the title of King or Queen of American seafood. I think he would come out king. That's just me personally.
Every time you say his name, I just want to go outdoor chef.
Right? Louisiana Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser came to name America's best seafood chef at the 2019 Great American Seafood Cook-Off in New Orleans.
Ooh, New Orleans.
They know what they're doing out there.
I used to live there. I used to live down there. They got such good seafood, and what I love about them is they've really honed the ability to fry their seafood. I love fried seafood. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be calamari, shrimp, oysters, fish, just fried up.
Yeah,
love it.
The only reason I go down there is it's a gumbo. We'll talk about that and plenty more. 8:36 in the morning. 888-8255-888-TALK. Short break. Kevin Kerrigan with last look at news coming up in a sec.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Can we deport the criminals to Area 51? 8:36 in the morning. How do you know that hasn't already happened in somebody's administration? It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. We'll get caught back up with Will here in a couple of minutes and talk a little bit more about where we left off in the last hour, and that had to do with marijuana and sales of marijuana and the conversations about making it so that there is more access to it as opposed to controlling it and limiting licenses for labs and producers and retailers of the stuff. I'm a laissez-faire, invisible hand, free market kind of guy, and that's what I'd like to see. But first, it's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency is looking into reports that firefighters at the Guam International Airport sprayed firefighting chemicals into a jungle area beyond the fence line at the airport. Videos obtained by the Guam Daily Post show a firefighting truck discharging a dry white substance into the area. Spokesman Nick Lee acknowledged that Guam EPA also received copies of the same videos, and they received them on the same day that the agency submitted a request to Airport General Manager Tom Atta on another incident, a request to investigate the dumping of water from containers that were once filled with a fire suppressant chemical AFFF. EPA regulators have asked for a site inspection and interviews with all personnel involved. Lee said that the airport has been cooperating. A real estate and investment banking firm in New York City has placed the old Axion Hotel in Jonah on the auction block in the Archdiocese of Agana's search for a bidder willing to pay more than $5.6 million for the property. The official committee of unsecured creditors hired Keene Summit Capital Partners in the bankruptcy case of the Archdiocese. The committee represents the more than 220 plaintiffs who have filed sexual abuse lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church. The attorney for the committee of creditors, Edwin Caldy, asked the court to allow for a supplemental real estate agent to seek higher offers for the property, saying he does not believe the property was marketed robustly. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signing into law 3 charter school-related bills. Senator Talena Nelson's Bill number 107 extends the allowable period for a charter school to obtain accreditation from 5 to 6 years and requires the schools maintain a minimum accreditation status. Nelson's other bill, 106, was also signed by the governor. It removes the Guam Department of Education's responsibility over the budgetary and organizational needs of the island's 3 charter schools. And Senator James Moylan's bill number 57 was approved as well. It lifts the limit on the number of charter schools that can be established in facilities not currently owned by Guam DOE. In her approval message to the legislature, the governor said, charter schools have grown to give legitimate alternatives in education, and the legislation she approved reflects the positive momentum towards fulfilling the original goals of the Guam Academy Charter School Act passed 10 years ago. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Good plan. 8:40 in the morning. That's Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post, and this is iConnect. Time. Call iConnect. Their number's 888-8888, and ask them about saving money on your internet and mobile plans with iConnect.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
I was talking about Chef Peter going off and competing in Louisiana, and I'm wondering which he's going. What is he going to be taking with him? What is his go-to recipe going to be? Maybe it'll be the seafood lau lau that they've got at Mescla's. A medley of salmon, shrimp, scallops, and fresh spinach wrapped up in tea leaves. Then we steam it to order. Top it with soy butter sauce, which, as far as I'm concerned, that will be our secret weapon: soy butter sauce and a little bit of a peppery finadeni in there, and whatever kind of starch you want. Visit Mescla in Agana and in Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. For reservations, the number's 969-2652.
Viva Guam! As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community. From offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly Hafa Day service, Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
I'm looking thoughtfully at the traffic gizmo this morning to see if there's anything that is going to slow you down. I know that we got wet road conditions out there, so please drive through those conditions. Expect delays at all the major intersections from Dededo all the way into the downtown Agutnia area. Looks like the most significant is the slowdown that is over at the airport coming out of there onto Marine Corps Drive. But there's a few other places where it's going to slow up as well, up and down Route 8 on the way into the downtown Agutnia area. Traffic headed towards Route 8 from Marine Corps Drive. That turn lane's also a little bit busy. Once you get past that, you get over by Kipua Loop. That intersection is a little bit busy. So you make that, you make that left turn towards Route 4 and the Bank of Guam area, but you can't make that turn from there. But if you are at the intersection of 4 and 7, expect some delays through there. Still looks like there's a little bit of work being done trying to get people into Navy Hospital, and Big Navy's just a mess this morning, like it always is. 8:43. That's right now traffic here in the Point.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it? I'll take a book club. Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
I told you I got an image from my buddy Joey Toves of what looks like a very serious guy explaining to a panel of people what Naruto running is and what they ought to be looking for as Area 51 is stormed. Naruto running, and there's a PowerPoint presentation, and then the guy actually goes into a demonstration of Naruto running. So it is possible that maybe somebody in the Pentagon is taking this a little bit seriously. I'm delighted to see that in the PowerPoint presentation, the first slide is the same one that I used from YouTube to describe what Naruto running was.
It really is. And keep in mind, Ray, just a few months ago, we had people actually eating laundry detergent because they thought it was cool. So, yeah, the Pentagon actually probably is taking notes.
This is happening. It's going to be happening. And as I said, my friend Valine is working with some friends to put together a raid, an invasion of the Area 671. And, we got the guys from Pate Letekzen that are protesting in support and solidarity with the people that don't want the Mauna Kea observatory.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the same thing, except Area 51.
We should do it at a beach, though.
It's going to be at a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'll send you the paperwork.
Okay.
I'll send you you'll want to go. I'll send you the paper. You will want to go. Valine, just one thought. Assembly permit. You'll need to go to the fire department and get a permit to assemble. And tell them Ray Gibson said it was going to be all right. I'll be there to provide the adult supervision, sort of. 8:45 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Did I get Will back?
Yep, I'm back.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So when kind of so many different questions, so many different places that we can go on the conversation about the Cannabis Control Board, and how far have you gotten into in terms of writing up the rules and regulations on this? I know that one of the first things that you wanted to do was issue an FAQ, and that came out a couple of weeks back, and I was delighted to see that because I thought it would answer a lot of questions that people have got about recreational marijuana. We had a guy online this morning wondering what was wrong with the ladies trying to smuggle marijuana into the prison, and the answer is, well, number one, it was still illegal when she tried to do that, and number two, even if it did occur after the legislature had spoken and we decriminalized it, you still cannot distribute it. That's for your own consumption if you're growing it for yourself, or if you're going to sell it, you need to get some kind of permission. So it seems to me that there's going to be some questions about rules and regulations moving forward. How much longer do you think you're going to need before you've got a comprehensive set you can take to the legislature?
Well, we're looking at September as a soft date to have a full, to have a draft, to have a working draft to go with. And right now we're putting a prioritization on lab rules and grower guidelines. Mm-hmm. Because even if we don't have everything finished right away, if we have those two pillars up, the growers and the labs will know what they need to account for in their business planning, just to help streamline the process along. Those are the two things we're going to focus on in terms of the rulemaking process, and then just backfill from there in orders of least importance.
Well, in my mind, there's a couple of different ways that we can do retail on craft beer. I might want to get different kinds of smoke.
Yeah, like I want to go to a craft, like these people specialize in this sort of deal. Yeah, like micro brews.
Exactly. So I'm, and maybe one of those like with microbrews, where if I like a particular kind, I can take my growler and get 16 ounces of that and take it home.
Yeah, and that's how come I'm not looking to necessarily limit the amount of shops we can have, because just with the idea of a micro grow, there's a lot of different ways to cut this pie. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always have to be 10,000 square foot industrial operations. It could be a little, like I am open to the idea of somebody having a little micro grow, because the thing is, this is not just an industrial product. This is also an artisan product.
Yes.
Cannabis bowls, and people have these competitions for who goes the best qualitative strain and not necessarily the best quantitative strain. And so we gotta we gotta be flexible. We don't want to paint ourselves into a corner by over-regulating right out the gate.
Right. Well, and what I'd like to see is some kind of and people will get mad at me and go, oh, there's that corporate welfare again. But I'd like to see something like a qualifying certificate for businesses that will be doing something along those lines, where they're going to be developing certain kinds of strains, certain flavors and certain results that you can only get by cultivating this kind of thing here with what kind of organically already exists in the market.
Yeah, like I could see some merit to that idea. There are some strains like the Charlotte's Web strain, which is almost 100% CBD and like almost 0% THC.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very unattractive to the average dispensary. So for things like that, I could see merit in encouraging them to carry high CBD, no THC products.
Mm-hmm. There's a conversation that one or two guys were having just around signature on the paper and voting time over at the legislature on development of a hemp industry here on Guam for all of the different things that hemp is useful for as a plant or a plant product. Is that going to be in the realm of the capabilities of the Cannabis Control Board?
A hemp industry?
Yeah. I want to make my own hippie clothes. I want to make my own rope. I want to make my own I don't know whatever it is that they do with hemp.
Yeah, if it's within our jurisdiction, I'm open to looking at things like that. But like I'm not quite sure, because once you start getting things, because I believe the definition for hemp is less than 3% CBD. Or less than 3% THC. And so anything over 3% THC, I believe, is under the watchful eye of the Cannabis Control Board, but anything under that is not ours. It's not considered a cannabis product if it's under a certain amount of THC.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're using it to specifically for the creation of hemp products, not even necessarily CBD oils or CBD teas or anything like that. I'm thinking of actual products made from the roots and the leaves and the stringy parts of it.
I think that's already been legalized by federal law just in the last year here by Trump or so. I believe there was something where they nationalized hemp, or they legalized hemp nationally, haven't they?
I could not tell you. I believe that is part of the act. You're in a better position than I am to understand what happened at the federal level that clears the way for us to bring in the CBD products. Apparently, there's still guys over at the FDA and still people here on Guam that have got their knickers in a knot over it, and part of it comes from their inability to test for it properly. And I think the other part of it is still there's a bias against anything that even remotely looks like, resembles, and is associated with marijuana.
Oh, that's absolutely true. There has been decades of programming that we still need to overcome.
Yeah.
This has been a message that's been in people's minds and hearts for a long, long time. And so we need to be patient with them if they're not quite on board right away.
Right.
They'll get there.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and some people like it when I go there, and some people hate Wikipedia. But for whatever it's worth, Wikipedia does have a page on hemp and hemp-derived products, including building materials, plastic and composite materials, and maybe there's something that we can use hemp for that will replace some of the plastic containers that we use too much of around here because it's made out of something fibrous. You can make paper out of it. There are jewelry, cordage, obviously, animal bedding, water and soil purification, weed control, even the concept of biofuels. Are ideas that have been discussed with hemp, and it seems to me, where America's day begins, maybe Guam can be one of the places where America can fall in love with hemp again.
Yeah, and there's a cultural component to it too, because I remember when I was a kid here on Guam, and I'd go to field trips down south, and we'd watch old rope makers, practice their craft.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say we can't bring some of those old crafts back with things like hemp? That's a very unique problem. That's a very unique product to have. Artisan crafted goods from hemp, from old traditional Chamorro practices. That's something you can't get anywhere in the world.
No, I don't disagree. So we make hemp rope, we make hemp line, some cordage, and we'll use that to hang the sanais around our neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there are a whole lot of ideas, a whole lot of different places where we can go in this, and I'm looking forward to getting the paperwork all taken care of between you guys over at the Cannabis Control Board, and then see where the rest of this can go. Mike Limtiaco, as in Mike Limtiaco, as in the farmer Mike Limtiaco is on the other line. Hold on a second. Let me bring him into the conversation, because I think it will be interesting, because he knows how to put seeds in the ground and make something useful pop out of it. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you? Good morning, Will.
I'm good. Welcome home. How was the trip? I saw pictures on Facebook.
Oh, we had a great time. Thanks for asking. The family really enjoyed the vacation, but happy to be back home and happy to get back to work, actually.
When am I going to get my first batch of eggs from you guys?
That's Ray, we talked about this. We went to the legislature about this. It's a big investment, and we need to mitigate the risk. So hopefully we can take a look at our lease agreement again.
All right. Well, I'll keep plugging away for that on the radio. I got Will Parkinson on the line from the Cannabis Control Board. What you got? What are you thinking?
Hey, Will, thanks. Appreciate your service on the Cannabis Control Board. We always need good people to help the island. But I had a question, regarding the waiver for the lab. I understand the priority to have patient access, but I just wanted to get your thoughts and the board's thoughts on what about the testing of the pesticides, the heavy metals, and the mold that currently exists in the law. How would you get around that?
Well, right now, as a standard practice, there is no pesticides that are being used on cannabis plants. It's just not a thing that's happened. So if people are using pesticides, it's an automatic disqualification for the most part. And the way I would address this is written into the medical cannabis laws. There are provisions in there where the Cannabis Regulation Commission can use government resources, like, say, for example, have someone go in and do a spot inspection of a facility to make sure they're in compliance. So, in lieu of a lab, we would still have that. And I would argue, even if we have a lab, that's a very important component to making sure that these places are compliant. Is we need to be able to have qualified inspectors to go in there and make sure everything is above board. Maybe they won't be able to test the THC themselves, but they'll be able to see if there's being pesticides used on these, or they'll be able to see that there's something that isn't following the best practices that they should be following.
Well, you could make it part of the application, part of the licensing is you need to pay for the enforcement of all of the different rules. The same way an argument could be made that the Department of Public Health and Social Services in their environmental division is able to go out there and likewise take advantage of take a look at kitchens and restaurants and be able to determine if they're doing it right. So I mean, if there are complaints, if there are suspicions, and if there are concerns, then somebody from a CCB or their enforcement branch can go out there on a regular basis or on a random basis and make sure that we're not using any heavy metals or anything that might end up being harmful in the rest of the process.
And as far as how this waiver would work too,
nothing's perfect. Nobody's going to be able to look at everything. And Mike's back on the line. And sorry, Mike, I needed to take you off of the channel because there's a lot of background noise in your feed. But if you wanted to follow up with Will, go ahead, do it now.
Oh, hey, sorry about that, guys. I got cut off. But yeah, Will, the concerns that we were thinking about is wherever you plant, right, the plant's going to suck up nutrients and whatever was planted there or used on that property before, right? So if you guys can just think about those effects, because the mold is an issue as well. If there's some way that they can test around that, to get the patients to access, that'd be great. But Ray, I don't know how much time you have, but I also wanted to talk about what you guys were talking about regarding hemp.
Then give me a call back on the other side of Fox News. I've only got 30 seconds left in this hour. Will's already been on a couple of times today, so I'm going to let him run and do whatever it is he does for a living. But I'm dying to know what your thoughts are on hemp production here on Guam and processing into something that we might be able to use. It's former Senator Mike Limtiaco. In the next hour, the Ray Gibson Show. It's 93.3 The Point KUSG. Gotten you. Smoke it up. This is Fox News Live next.
An additional witness. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A name added to the list of people who could testify at tomorrow's House hearings featuring former special counsel Robert Mueller.
The highly anticipated hearing is in flux after House Democrats announced a surprise addition. Special counsel Robert Mueller will have his attorney and longtime associate Aaron Zebley at his side. Democrats told Fox Zebley will be at the witness table with Mueller, which is not standard. Zebley was also a senior attorney on the special counsel case, handling some of the most sensitive issues. The House Judiciary Committee, led by Democratic Chairman Jerry Nadler, hosts first round of testimony tomorrow. Democrat Adam Schiff, who leads the House Intelligence Committee, hosts the second round. Schiff told reporters today he received a similar request from Mueller to swear in Zebley as a witness. But Schiff did not want the Mueller hearing converted into a hearing with someone else.
Fox's Catherine Herridge in Washington. A jury convicting a one-time business partner of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn on charges he illegally acted as a Turkish agent when he and Flynn undertook a project to discredit a cleric wanted by the Turkish government. Amazon, Google, and Facebook could be in the crosshairs. The Justice Department opening an antitrust investigation into tech companies, but doesn't name names.
The release makes it very clear that it's looking into the dominant tech firms of the day to see if they are unlawfully reducing competition, stifling innovation, or harming consumers. And consumers really seem to be the driving force here because, according to the press release, it reads, the department's review will consider the widespread concerns that consumers, businesses, and entrepreneurs have expressed about search, social media, and some retail services online.
Fox's Christian Fisher in Washington. A possible tornado touching down this morning on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The National Weather Service sending a team to assess the damage. This is Fox News.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fun and Mall Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
More electricity problems in Venezuela as a blackout that began yesterday continues.
Disputed President Nicolas Maduro's regime blamed a criminal electromagnetic attack, but provided no evidence or details as to who or how the alleged attack was carried out. Today also marks 6 months to the day when U.S. recognized President Juan Guaido declared that he is the true legitimate president, not Maduro. He and members of the equally powerless National Assembly met outside in the street today, encouraging anti-Maduro demonstrations and discussing strategy and what to do next, since Maduro refuses to resign. In Miami, Phil Keating, Fox News.
Immigration officials have now released a U.S.-born 18-year-old held in Border Patrol custody for more than 3 weeks. Francisco Irwin Galicia left the detention center in Texas today. A Russian boxer knocked out in the ring Friday has died from his injuries.
Maxim Dadashev's trainer stopped the fight Friday at MGM National Harbor when the junior welterweight was clearly struggling from the blows being handed to him. Dadashev would collapse on the way back to the dressing room following his 11th round knockout, his first career-sanctioned loss. Dadashev was rushed to a nearby hospital where he underwent emergency surgery to relieve bleeding on his brain, later placed in a medically induced coma to allow brain swelling to subside. His manager and trainer Tuesday confirming that Dadashev, a native of Russia training out of California, had passed away from his injuries. He was 28 years old. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
A spokesman for embattled R&B star R. Kelly has stepped down after he went on national TV to talk about the federal sex crime charges against the singer and said he wouldn't allow his adult daughter to be alone with anyone accused of being a pedophile, then later reversed his statement when speaking to USA Today. Kelly's attorney, Steve Greenberg, said Daryl Johnson's taking time off for personal reasons. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data-to-Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data-to-Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
5 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK is my telephone number. Swing by the guys over at Cars Plus. They've got the Summer of Jeep sale going on right now. Wrangler, 1.99% APR. You're going to love the plan they put together for you. Maybe you need something that's a little bit more, what do I want to say, fine dining, and maybe a little bit more decent. Check out the Grand Cherokee and test drive that today. It wouldn't cost you anything to do that over at Cars Plus. Might find your next ride. And as soon as they give you the keys, take it to Nanbo Insurance and say, I need this insured too, guys. They've got a bundle-up plan. You can save up to 50% with them. Call 477-9754, and the guys over at Nanbo will be more than happy to talk to you about a great insurance plan for your place. APL, global presence, and local home bring you portions of the Ray Gibson Show, as well as the guys over at Micronesia Renewable Energy, where they've got battery storage that is recharged with the power of the sun. I've been telling everybody, they got solar systems out there, solar power, but now it's like battery power, but it's recharged by the sun. 6 and 1, half dozen of the other. Call for a free consultation, 632-2613, and then swing by Ruby Tuesdays for happy hour tonight, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 4 to 6. All day Friday, we've got beer, wine, sangrias, Tipsy Palmers, Ruby Relaxers, around $5 a piece, and we've got $5 apps as well. It's happy hour at Ruby's.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
So they're talking about different things that you can do with hemp. I think some of them are kind of interesting. You can make paper out of it. There is hemp jewelry from knotting hemp twine and the practice of macrame. You can make bracelets and necklaces and anklets and rings and watches and all kinds of adornments and that kind of thing. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the first guy to come out with a hemp watch band for Apple iPhones and get all the hippies and the Apple fans together on that. Rope, as we were talking about, bedding for animals. Water and soil purification. It says here hemp can be used as a mop crop to clear impurities out of wastewater such as sewage effluent, excessive phosphorus from chicken litter, or other unwanted substances or chemicals. Additionally, hemp is being used to clean contaminants at the Chernobyl nuclear disaster site by way of a process which is known as phytomediation, the process of clearing radioisotopes and a variety of other toxins from the soil, water, and air. And maybe that would help Mike with his concerns about heavy metals and things that would grow into the marijuana plants at certain places where they might be grown. Hey, Mike. Oh, it's not Mike?
No, it's not Mike.
Oh, it's Jess. How a dude?
Yeah.
Oh, I was expecting to get Mike back on the line. That's cool. But I'll talk to you.
I think I'm changing the subject a little bit, but I mean, not a little bit, a lot. But I was just wondering, the wire claims, Madeline Bordallo, it's originally was her deal, and MSN is Nicholas is basically fixing what she messed up on or something, right? Or forgot to put in or something like that.
There was no mechanism in the language that Madeline Bordallo left Washington D.C. that would provide the stream of cash. My understanding from the Treasury to the individuals whose cases had already been arbitrated and decided. Mike's language restores that or creates that pathway.
Oh, creates a pathway.
Yeah, so they can get paid. It's the only thing that we're missing at this point is a mechanism for these people to get paid. All of their cases have been adjudicated, and their names are on the list, and all we got to do is start writing the checks. But there was no method for the checks to be written from.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and so they're going to vote on it. What's today? Thursday, so they'll vote on that Friday. Right. So Friday afternoon, we should have an answer, at least in the House.
At the end of the day, it's still coming from Section 30 money, right?
Oh, yeah, that didn't change.
Okay, so if you were a war survivor and you worked for the federal government, right, and retired, you're basically going to get a tax refund with no interest. If you look, is it fair to look at it that way? Because Section 30 money is from federal employees, isn't it?
Yeah. It's bounced. It's bounced to Guam. So basically, we're paying the war reparations ourselves, even though it's coming from Treasury. Yeah, it's set aside from Section 30 monies. So I suppose that might be one way of looking at it. I was disappointed that was the best deal that we could come up with, and frankly, if that had been an option all of this time, frankly, we could have been paying war claims years and years ago.
That's what I was going to try to get to. Is that the legislature could have, our local legislator could have appropriated that money, right, or just said, okay, this is set aside for all the Manumco and everybody who.
Sure they could. But, there's a big production being made over the decades of making the federal government pay for it because they relieved Japan of the obligation to do it. John McCain, who, for a lot of people is a real big hero, but he was the guy that stood up against Madeline for years against that in the committees.
Right.
And so we end up getting what we end up with, and now it comes down to us basically paying the war reparations of ourselves. And I think that's going to give rise to questions, as others on this program have pointed out. Well, if it's always been within our arena to do it, while we've got these cases that are going through and adjudicating with what I would refer to as the actual war survivors, people that were here on Guam somewhere in between the day that the Japanese invaded and around liberation and the mop-up time. In my mind, those are the World War II survivors. There are some people that say, well, children of those World War II survivors ought to be entitled to something as well. And I'm going, that would be me. My mom was under the definition a World War II survivor. I was born in 1962. I was nowhere near the war, so I don't know that I ought to be able to get anything or ought to be able to get any financial gain from my mother's suffering when she was 2 years old.
Yeah, and it would have been a headache if all the family members got involved, I would assume, but, like you could have said, oh, well, we use that money to pay for funeral expenses and other debts that that they may have left behind, or but I guess he just didn't want to get into that whole thing. And then the other part too was when I asked my grandfather, he was kind of disappointed that he had to go through this qualification process. It's like, wow, you don't all of a sudden have to prove that I lived and I suffered under the so to him it was like almost he didn't want to deal with it because he didn't want to have to prove, I guess it was almost like it was offensive to him that he had to prove that he lived through the war.
Yeah, and I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's a pretty subjective thing, and then but there has to be guidelines and guardrails for people so that we can establish that, and we don't have people just kind of running in willy nilly saying that's me, I'm that guy. No, but the guy. I get it.
The problem is if you do, right, let's assume you say, okay, I signed up and I put whatever down, and then they say, okay, you're not qualified. I mean, just imagine how you would feel, or how do you make that person feel like, oh, you're denied, that that's something.
Well, it would suck, but then I need to do a better job of proving that I am the person that I say I am, and that I did suffer these atrocities, if for no other reason, to maintain a level of standards in the process, so that other people who may have suffered worse, comfort women, and forced labor, and people that like my grandmother who lost a couple of babies to miscarriages based on the stress of the Second World War. So you know. Everybody got something, and I think in this case everybody will get something finally, but it's not the way I would have preferred for it to go.
Yeah, I just don't agree with the funding thing. I mean, that just, but yeah, I just wanted to chime in on that and see what was up with that. Okay,
that's cool. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Jess. I'm gonna go back to talking with Mike Limtiaco about hemp. Because I think I think it's the next fun conversation that we get to have around here, and be able to take something that nobody has grown around here that I'm aware of for a long time. Is it possible? Because there's so much that we don't know about what we don't know. I just found out recently that it was only until about the 10s and 20s that anybody ever bothered to eat chicken. I mean, we consume billions and billions of pounds of chicken in this country, and but it was not always that way. People didn't always eat chicken in this country. Again, you make chickens. You know what you got chickens for? Eggs. That's what we wanted chickens for. Nobody ever ate them. It's like, and chicken wings. We were talking about chicken wings in a big competition that's going to be coming up. There was a time, once upon a time, chicken wings were something that got thrown out because they couldn't make anything out of it. It was too hard to extract the meat. Normally, you'd find a way to extract the meat, make cat food or something out of it. But even then, that was kind of tricky for them. And it wasn't until a few years later, the poor people always ate chicken wings because it was the cheapest kind of chicken protein that you could get for years and years and years. And it wasn't until somebody said, hey, if I cook this up and then toss it in with some spicy sauce, we'll turn it into something that people are going to love. And to this day, my favorite meal, because it's one of the easiest to cook and it tastes good, you get some steaming white rice, and then you get some soy sauce and some garlic and some onions, and you throw the chicken wings in there, and you boil up until the meat is beginning to fall away from the bone, and the skin is beginning to fall to pieces, and we called that the soy sauce chicken at my house, and it's so good.
Yeah, but now I feel really bad for the chickens who have no choice but to cross the road.
9:16, and on that note, we bring Mike back into the conversation. Mike, are you familiar with any of the use of hemp that might have taken place on Guam back in the day before the war, maybe even before the Americans got here?
No, Ray. I was born in '73, so no, I'm not aware of it.
We got to find an old guy. We got to find an old guy. There's got to be somebody that knows enough about the agricultural history of Guam to be able to say, yeah, oh, hemp, we used to use that for everything. Or hemp, I never heard of it. But it's possible because it's got such a long history of being cultivated. You know, there's different kinds of hemp because they figured out different ways that they could cultivate it to do different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also caught the tail end of when you went right before you went on with Jesse regarding how they use it to mitigate like environmental issues, like you were saying something about Chernobyl. Mm-hmm. And so mushrooms do that too, right? So that's what I was referring to with Will, is that, you know, that plant, you know, the cannabis plant, it really does suck up a lot of things from, you know, the soil. And so, you know, if they're gonna waive the testing, if it's just for THC potency, you know, how are they going to get past the, you know, testing for the heavy metals and the mold, which, you know, are also health concerns for the patients, right? So they just need to consider that, you know, when they're, you know, formulating whatever waiver they may come up with. But, you know, I just wanted to talk to you about, you were talking about, you know, hemp and all the different applications, but for the medicinal patients, right, I don't think, I think the main benefit, right, is the CBD. So, you know, there's a lot of different strains of hemp that are high in CBD that don't necessarily have the THC. So, right. You know, maybe if it's not on the controlled substance list anymore, that could really reduce the barriers to entry for those medicinal patients that are, you know, trying to get the benefits of the CBDs as opposed to, you know, the THC in the cannabis. So.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I'd like to find out what the local recreational homegrown version of that would be. I mean, I will not pretend to understand how CBD oils are made. I can't begin to understand the efficacy of the CBD oils. You know, you and I are both runners, which means that something somewhere on our body always hurts. And I've been fortunate enough to get treated to some CBD product, and to the degree that it works, maybe it works because I rubbed it in vigorously like the instructions said, or maybe it works because the CBD stuff that is in there works. I will tell you, I started to get chapped lips the other day, and on a lark, I put some CBD oil on the chapped lips. Literally within a couple of hours, it had healed.
Well, you know, you don't have to process the high CBD cannabis or hemp into oils to get the benefits. So, you know, even if they consume the flower, whether smoking it or edibles, they're still getting the CBD benefit. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through that extensive processing to get the terpenes and the CBD from the flower. So, you know, it's still from a medicinal standpoint, it would be a low barrier to entry because it's off the controlled substances, but it's also, you don't have to go through the expensive processing. You know, I went into Porta Mocha and I saw it on the countertops there, and I asked them. I want to say that it was close to $200 for, you know, the bottle, and you know, that could be a price constraint for some individuals, but if they just smoke the flower for the CBD, they'll still get the CBD benefit.
Should be, right?
Without the THC, yeah.
It should be. Although you know, the people are not suggesting that we smoke either the CBD or the hemp or the marijuana product because, you know, smoking. It's smoking. Smoking is bad. We don't like. Find another way to ingest that, get it into your system. And there's, I get it. There's CBD oils, and those are pricey. But I think as more and more guys like you that have got that entrepreneurial spirit. And access to capital and access to land that you might be able to use, it's possible that we might be able to bring that price point down. I think as more and more people are doing this kind of thing, there's going to be more demand for it. And you know how the free market works, right? I mean, if everybody and their brother is making hemp, then pretty soon these hemp products are going to come down in price.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you can ship it through interstate commerce as well, right? Because it's no longer regulated.
Until the FDA, unless the FDA gets involved, yeah. Because the FDA wants to control it the same way they control some of these other, I don't want to call them drugs, but and not pharmaceuticals either, homeopathic products.
Yeah, but you know what you were saying regarding the potential for different products, right? It could be an export industry for Guam. You know, it's definitely something that we need to look at. Our legislatures need to look at too to help grow the economy.
I think you and Jimmy Moylan, the only couple of people in the legislature these days that understand the concept. So. Yeah, the rest of them are all attack the military and what's the other one? Ban plastic straws and balloons.
Well, you know, hopefully Jimmy can take it under his wing and pursue it. But really, he doesn't have to do anything because it's already federally legal. So you know, you don't need a cannabis license. You could import hemp seeds from anywhere in the world right now. You know, looking for that low THC to make sure it's within the regulations, and you know, and hopefully some of our farmers out there can, you know, get on board and, you know, pursue it. You know, and it would be a good economic boom to the island if we can make it work.
Got to be ways. I'm not smart enough to understand all of them, but I don't see how we should find a way not to miss this opportunity. I'm looking at some pictures of fiberboard that is made from hemp. They use that to make furniture, thermal insulation. We've got cinder block, concrete blocks that incorporates hemp in there, and I'm sure that there's some R value properties for that as well. It's just, you know, it's a question of, I think, imagination meeting up with entrepreneurial skills, being able to grow it here and then find a market. The market may not be here. The market might be like with copra back in the days. We develop it, somebody else picks it up from the old Atkins scroll and ships it someplace.
There you go, Ray. Now you're talking. Good job keeping the conversation going, though.
Well,
we need the economic stimulus.
It's easy when you got smart people like you to talk to.
Thanks, Ray. Take care.
All right, buddy. I'll see you pretty soon. 888-8255-888-TALK. As I say constantly on the program, I take requests, and I got a request overnight here to include in the conversation. Yeah, school's coming up. Dare he say. Oh, there's kids listening now. There's kids that are awake. Don't say that there's school coming up. Yeah, unfortunately it is. And we've got a group of people, the Taylors. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're just the nicest people in the world, the Taylors, and they work with Harvest Christian Academy. And they are one of, I would hope, a growing number of families that are taking in kids that, for whatever reason, might be away from their regular home. Mom and dad got in trouble with the law, and the kids now are living in a foster facility. And it's back to school for them no matter what. It doesn't matter where they are in the criminal justice system. We got kids, they got to go to school. If they're living at a foster house, then the foster families have to see to it. If I get lucky before the end of the day, we'll be able to talk to somebody, one of the Taylors over at the Harvest House, and find out what it is exactly that they need. But I did get a note from Pam, and they have got. Let me describe this adequately for you. They have got a deal that is coming up just in the next couple of days because it's going to be back to school. It's a school supply drive. Help prepare Guam's foster children for academic success. Harvest House hopes to collect 300 backpacks or diaper bags full of school supplies for foster kids. How can you help? Order from Harvest House's Guam Amazon shopping cart or buy locally. And there's a list of supplies that you can get. And it's all the same stuff. I was going to say, it's all the same stuff that you would buy for your kids if you were going to school, but it's all the same stuff that you would buy for your kids if you were going to school the day after the house burned down. So underwear, panties, socks, hydro flasks, journals, notebooks, erasers, pencils, glues, copier paper, just all of the regular stuff, because a lot of these kids are coming in from situations that God help the rest of us there, but for the grace of God go us, right? Ah, I see her on the line. Ms. Taylor joining me now. Hi, this is Ray. How you doing there?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, are you kidding? Well, I love what you and the hubby have done, and I love the idea that you've opened your homes and your hearts to these children, and I'm glad to see that you recognize that they have needs just like every other kid going back to school in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, you're so sweet. We love that the community is our family as well for these foster kids.
Yeah, well, so I was trying to describe the kind of things that you want to put in these backpacks to get these kids ready for school, and I said it's basically the same thing as you would put into your backpack for your kids if the house burned down last night. So
exactly.
We need stuff for school, but we need stuff for living as well.
Right, definitely. We want to bless these foster children like they haven't been blessed before. We want it to be like a Christmas before back to school.
Oh.
So, a lot of people ask us, what can we fill the backpacks up? We do have a list. You're welcome to check it out on our Facebook page. But it's really fine to just do whatever you like. Make it really special. Don't just buy the plain colored folders. Go and make it Spider-Man and make it really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Go pick out the coolest backpack there is and fill it up with all sorts of fun items. And we're going to let every foster child shop at our event.
Oh.
So they get to pick out their backpack, they get to pick out their binder and their notepads and their pencil cases, and they're going to make it very personal for each foster child.
So you're looking for basically 300 of everything.
300 of everything.
Okay. It's not a tall order. I think it's might be something that people might be able to get their hands on. If you know somebody in the wholesaling business, or maybe you know somebody that has got a bunch of gently used or never used items that the kids might find enjoyable to take back to school with them, then definitely I can think of office supply places, maybe some businesses that geared up for some growth that they just haven't taken yet, and maybe that's where we're going to get things like copier paper or binders or things like that.
Yeah, some things are just not fun to buy, like copy paper and Kleenex and Lysol wipes and things, but the kids need it. And it's such a blessing that the foster parents, they're already going above and beyond taking care of these kids day in and day out, and all their needs that they have. And what a sweet way to bless them, not having to go shop for all those little things that can add up and expense. But it's a sweet blessing to the family as well as the foster child.
Right. Well, and again, remember, these families are taking kids in a variety of situations, and some of them are really, really unpleasant. And so it's one less thing for them to have to worry about. It's one less thing for the kids to worry about. But it's also an opportunity for the kids to know that there is good in this community. Exactly. And even though they might be surrounded by dark clouds, a chance for them to look for the silver lining for people that will look out and care for them.
It's such a sweet event to see our foster children be reunited with their siblings, sometimes for the first time in a long time. Ooh. And they're just playing in the gym, having a good time together. And then they get to go shopping for free. That's pretty cool. And then they get to have free food. That's always awesome when you have really a lot of them have come from starvation or really poor conditions. So we just really like to make those kids feel like kings and queens for the day.
Well, and I can't think of a couple of better people than you and your husband to be able to do that. And so you mentioned a Facebook page, and let's move on to that here, and let's talk to how do we make the connection? There's also a blurb in the paperwork that I was looking at that says you might be able to do some shopping on your Amazon page.
Yeah, the only problem is our Amazon. We had it out for a month, and if you order from Amazon, it probably is not going to get here in time for the event. Though we will service the foster children all year long with backpacks. So every time a foster child comes into the system, we give them fresh essentials, a new backpack, and all the clothing and shoes they need. So feel free to go on our Amazon wish list and pick something off Amazon if you like. It just probably won't get here for our event.
Yeah.
But it is on our Harvest House Facebook page. So if you go to Harvest House Guam on Facebook, you'll find us. We also are on Instagram and Twitter. So we have our back to school supply list there and our Amazon wish list there.
I was going to say, and it's pretty much everywhere. There's an actual website for those of you that still do things the old way.
Yeah, exactly. We do. We even have our website up. You can Harvest House Guam.
Okay, listen, it's always fun talking with you, and if you ever need something, because I'm getting this just a couple of days prior to the deadline, but hit me up earlier. Make sure we get you in the studio and do all of that. Okay.
Okay, that would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Tell Mr. I will tell Mr. T I miss him.
I will.
All right. Talk to you pretty soon. 9:31 in the morning. That's nice. And you got all the information that you need. You know where to go on the World Wide Web and help out. There's a lot of families, foster families, and a lot of foster kids that really, really need it. You hear me read up on the headlines, and you got these cases of domestic abuse and violence, and you got somebody that got arrested. That might be somebody's mom. And in a lot of cases, the cops have got no choice because there's nobody else to watch the kids, to take those kids out of wherever it is where there's a really, really bad influence and put them someplace where they might be able to get the help they need, the supervision that they need. Eating on a regular basis is also kind of a nice thing. Anyway, 9:31 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Call iConnect and ask about how they're going to save you money on mobile and internet plans.
Biba Guam. As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community. From offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly holiday service, Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
Turn on the microphone and say, Biba, Biba. Here's what I want you to do. Go to Wendy's, because at Wendy's, they have a really, really good salad. You'd be surprised how great it is. It's got berries and blueberries and snozberries and raspberry vinaigrette. We've got feta cheese. We've got grilled chicken in there, as well as almonds. They keep it separate. I don't know why. I think it has to do with maybe people that might have some kind of allergy to almonds or something like that. So don't put it actually in the deal. You can put it in there if you want to. Me, I take those and I don't put it in the salad. I like to get a yogurt every once in a while. I get some yogurt and some muesli cereal and raisins, and that's where I put the almonds in there. So good. And you always feel good because, like, hey, look at me. I'm extending my food dollar. Do it with Wendy's.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
God bless us one and all, says Sandra De Leon Guerrero. Ray Paris says, God bless them. Absolutely. You know people that have got foster kids. I know folks that have raised, it feels like generations of foster kids. And they finally, I want to say that they got out of it just because it just... so now it's our time. We've seen a lot of these kids come through their houses, elementary school, middle school, high school, and now I guess it's their time to enjoy each other's company. Ron Cindy De La Rosa out there. Aisha Fernandez, good morning. It's nice to see you there. James Howard says that's industrial hemp collar. It's already manufactured as a product. In this case, it acts like a barrier to protect humans from radioactive waste. Keyword shield, not a sponge that absorbs the radioactive waste. John Wigston's online. I see Chris is on. Nate Horn yakking about stuff. Real Joe Cruz getting some practice in for his afternoon with the guys in the Tall Tales program. I see Carlos Barreto is there. Eddie Cruz, what Eddie talking about? CBD products tested in a lab in the state of origin and labeled property should be allowed in with no restrictions. It's anything produced locally without a lab that I'm worried about. What are you worried about? It's a plant. Is it the boogeyman of these heavy metals that go in there? The destruction of fossil fuels.
I'm just going to grow my own because 3 adult plants will supply me with more than enough.
I think so. Emma, Tanya Affligate Conceptions there, Nip Perlosky, Michelle Pangolina. Nice to see Lillian Cruz online this afternoon. Roger Martinez, how a dude? Roger Martinez, one of these guys. Okay, here's the question. I'm a runner, as I said with Mike. So that means that something on my body is always in pain, and these days between running and hiking, it's a few more places on my body that have got pain. I think it's time for me to come in and get an overhaul. 9:35 in the morning. 888-8255 is my telephone number. You're more than welcome to hit me up on the WhatsApp. That number there is going to be 988-5874. I'll make you a prediction that on Monday, this number 988-5874 is going to have a whole bunch of incredible pictures on it from the GTA Experience Center Block Party. Teresa on the line, one of the marketing representatives and G-Wiz gurus over at GTA. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm being invited to a lot of different things. A buddy of mine wants to go shooting over at the range. We'll go pew, 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 as in octopus. Pew, pew, pew.
I was going to say, is that like an octopus? Pew, pew, pew?
Exactly. And then I was thinking maybe after that we'd swing by and check out the block party. What time's everything get started?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so our block party this weekend, our truly local block party, starts at 1:30. We're opening it up to the public. And, it's just all the partners here at the Camacho Landmark Center. We're all pulling together to show this great community outreach. We're inviting everybody to come and enjoy our grand opening. Mm-hmm. And we've got food trucks. We've got Tunu. We've got Uniku. We've got, who are the other guys? Matacos. And then we've got Z's Green Canteen and Snowy. And then we've got a bunch of games. We've got some virtual reality games. We've got some Mario Kart, I believe we're going to have for the little kids.
Really? Like a real Mario Kart or the video game?
Excuse me?
The video game. You got that? You're going to be playing that on the big screens in a store?
Yeah. Actually, no, we've got some tents that we're going to put up, and so the kids can be out here playing the video game, getting, their face painted and balloon animals and all that kind of fun stuff.
But there's no, I don't see where the parking is in your building.
Okay, so here's the deal. What we're going to do is we do have parking. We've got quite a bit of parking on the backside of the Camacho Landmark Center. We've also got parking to the side where Porta Mocha and the Coast 360 folks are. Mm-hmm. And then, we also have parking even further back. There's some more backlot parking. And then, Guamanians, man, we know how to make do.
I'll find a place to park. Right on. So what time did you say everything gets started?
We start everything up at about 1:30. Of course, the sooner you get here, the more fun you'll have because you'll get to, have all the fresh snacks. But yeah, please. And then for the first 100 people, we're going to be giving out some free Snowy vouchers to Snowy and vouchers to the Z's canteen.
Ah, I see. Okay. Now, otherwise, I want to say there's an ATM in your building, but bring some folding money or go look for an ATM nearby and bring that with you to support the purchases of some of the other things going on.
Yes, absolutely. And we've just got a bunch of stuff, and the partners here at Camacho Landmark have been so great. They want to come out. They want to support it too. They want to show the community that we are truly local. And so we've got Coast 360 coming out. We've got APL upstairs coming out. Wahan Insurance is coming out. It's just going to be a good party. I hope everybody comes down.
Well, that's the idea. And then the other part of the idea is let's go and play with some of Teresa's toys.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you got to see this now. The way they've done, because I've been in there, and I kind of like the way that you can shop for different things. So if you see a phone that you like, you pick it up and you press the button on it, or you start the screen, and it'll tell you what packages are available for that particular phone. So you can match up your phone with what your perfect idea of what a cellular and data plan are going to look like.
Yes, sir. And we are going to be having some pretty cool in-store specials that I'll be able to share probably on Friday with you guys.
You coming over on Friday?
I will if you let me.
I'll beep you on the private line later to make sure that we on the private line. I'll beep you on the private line to make sure that it's a perfect time for you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay.
But yes,
I know it because I'm trying to lead you into a conversation about the toys that you've got there, and it's not, a lot of people go, oh, it's GTA, it's going to be phone stuff, right? But they've got so much more. All the chargers, every accessory that you need, and plus a growing list of Internet of Things goodies.
I was about to say we've got some really fantastic Internet of Things items that we have on sale, and for display. So. Our new store is actually called the Experience Center, and the idea behind that is that we've got everything for you to come and engage in and just experience, really. We've got Internet of Things items, we've got a Google Home, we've got a pet feeder that's really cool, and because we don't normally get people come in with their pets, we actually have the pet feeder feeding candy. So if you want to come in and have a shot of sugar, you're more than welcome.
That's so sweet. I love the idea. Now, is everybody going to get the same tour that I got when I went to the Experience Center? Because it's not just downstairs. There's a whole upstairs, and if you're interested in learning about some of the other products that they've got, products for your home, products for your business, then I know that the Chets and everybody love to walk you around upstairs so you can see what's going on.
Yes, we've got all hands on deck on that day to take people through the tour. Anything you want to know, we've got our folks, and our folks are so well versed. They know exactly what you're looking for, and if they don't, they'll figure it out. That's how we work.
Now, are you still using the other place down up the street from where I'm at?
Actually, you know what? That's become sort of a payment center for us. We've got folks who, of course, we're all creatures of habit, and so when we close the doors not necessarily close the doors, but when we remove the retail operations out of there, we had a lot of folks still coming by going, well, I just want to pay a bill. And so what we've done is we've kept it open. So if you folks want to come in and pay your bill, you're in the area, please stop on in.
Right.
We have the cashier who can help you out.
Okay. So we talked about different kinds of phones, and everybody knows about Apple phones. Everybody knows about Samsung phones. And I've been trying to spread the gospel on the Pixel phone and the incredible camera that it has on the inside. In fact, both sides of the Pixel, and it's just a great phone. I've really enjoyed using it. Are you guys looking at any other phone technology? Any other different names there?
Well, you know what? Right now, I think we're kind of sticking with the mainstream stuff, which is basically the Samsung, the iPhones.
Where's my BlackBerry? I'm BlackBerry again.
You know what? We're always looking for the next coolest thing, and so I'm sure that our product team, Jeremy and April, are working really hard to try and make sure that we get the next coolest thing. But I do know that the Pixel is definitely something that we've added to our lineup that a lot of early adopters really like. you included.
Oh, well, it's not me, because a lot of guys, buddies of mine, are looking at Facebook, and there's pictures of me and all these pretty girls on Facebook from Liberation Day. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't seek them out; they sought me out. And it's not because I'm Ray Gibson or anything like that. Is that they know that my camera takes great pictures. So they're like, I want to use the phone in Ray's camera. Or the camera in Ray's phone. That's the one that I want to use for my Liberation pics, and that's why those are on. I'm serious. There's if I'm with my friends and the people that I've been with since I've got the phone, when it comes down to taking selfies or taking group pictures, they're like, no, we're using Ray's phone.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's cool, right? And that's pretty much where we're going as far as our product team. Like I said, looking for the next coolest, the next greatest, and always keeping in mind what our customers are looking for, and absolutely the camera, because it's everybody needs a witness to their life, and everybody having a camera on their phone makes everybody a witness.
Well, I've been telling people there every single day you have to find an excuse to use the camera function on your phone. It's not a good day unless you've got something, a memory that you'd like to capture. Now, James Howard is he's a pundit. He's got an opinion about everything. He says this experience center sounds expensive. Prove him wrong.
No, it's not actually. One of the great things about this experience center, number one, is we're inviting everybody to come in, whether or not you want to buy anything. Come in and experience what we offer, and not just the products, but the service. I think that the level of service that we've gotten to at GTA has just really kind of put us over the top. I think we have some of the best people that work for us, and if there's one thing I love about the people at GTA, it's we are problem solvers. If you come in and say, hey, look, I've got this, and this going on, we'll sit you down and we'll say, okay, how can we make this work? How can we make this work? We're not this machine that turns out all these rules. We really want to work with you, and that's what makes us truly local.
Well, I think one of the other things that's worth pointing out here is that in terms of the actual technology, retail prices, packages, things like that, there has never been a better time to think about to ever. I mean, you should ask yourself this question all the time: am I getting the best deal on my internet and mobile plans?
Yeah,
and because everybody is competitive right now. You got a lot of guys in the game, and every single one of them wants market share. So they, you're watching the prices go down in lots and lots of different places. Personally, and people that know me know that this is what I've got at my house. I've got GTA at my house from my provider, and that takes care of all of my Internet of Things in the house. Takes care of all of my I need to watch Netflix and Hulu needs at my house, and everything else that happens. By the way, it's also how I get internet at my house.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are always trying. I mean, every day, anybody will tell you. You go out on the road, you see our guys. They're on the street. You see them. They're always working. It's amazing. And most times it's, just trying to make sure that everybody's getting the connections that they need, because that's what it's about. We all want to connect.
To each other, to ourselves. One of my favorite apps is a thing called Journey, which is a great journaling app. And again, one of the features is you can write whatever you want to. I generally write the top 5 or 10 things that happened to me today, and you can include up to either one video or 10 pictures. So like I said, every day is another opportunity to whip your camera out and take a picture of something. If a sunrise, a sunset, just kind of a random scene, just something that you can use to remember the day at.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a really cool app, actually.
You should try. You should try it. You should try it. And there's almost a little challenge into it, because it kind of tells you, how many if you've skipped days or if you've gone too many days without making some kind of a post. It's like, dude, is your life sucking right now?
Wow.
But like I said, every single day I've got a reason, and I've got 2 or 3 that I've got planned between now and the end of the day to have some pictures that I can put in the Journey, as well as my Facebooks and my Instagram, because I like to share, and everybody's nosy about my life.
Of course we are.
Yeah, but nobody asks me anything. They always ask my sister, who's that? Who's that? Okay, dude, I got to let you run, Chetch. It's always nice, and I'll see you on Saturday.
All right, Ray. Thanks so much.
Anytime. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Well, this has been an adventurous day, considering in my mind, how little really is going on out there. And maybe it's just I'm not paying enough attention, or maybe I'm just sitting around looking for things to post up in my journal or on Facebook or something like that. But really, when I think about it, just looking at the day's headlines, we could get all upset and get everything in a bunch over the people that took on another plea deal and are bypassing felony charges and bypassing any jail time. It's annoying, but it's almost cliche now, isn't it? Where you look at somebody, you look at a case, and I remember being all upset and up in arms when it happened, and then the arrests were made, and you think, okay, here's it. We're going to put them in the criminal justice system. We're going to be done with this. These people are going to go to jail. I mean, how can you not go to jail after you've already been found guilty of sneaking drugs into jail? How is it possible that you can avoid the jail time? And what's her name? Sokola says, Judge Sokola, Her Honor, says in the story, I gotta look at it. I want to make sure I've got the verbiage right when I read it to you. It's such a sweet deal, she says. Isn't that nice? But the statute does give leeway to first-time offenders. Okay, let's change the statute. This is methamphetamine we're talking about.
Let's just do like Portugal. Decriminalize all drugs. It'll save the police some time, because they're out clearly wasting their time picking these people up.
And in my mind, it's never been a problem with the police. Somebody drops a dime on somebody, or they do a pullover, and the guy smells like cat pee, and he's nervous, and there's something weird going on in this car, and the cops will collar somebody, and then they'll go into the system, and then pretty soon we got somebody that just wants to plea it out and put down another win. I got another guilty plea. That's what I got. But it was a guilty plea on the easy stuff, and in my mind, the police have probably also done a pretty decent job of collecting, gathering, documenting the evidence so that something can stick. And I can't imagine the guys, these two here, they were picked up by the Mandania Task Force, right? Questioner, Department of Corrections parking lot, found she was carrying an unspecified amount of marijuana and about 1.5 grams of methamphetamine. It was going to her brother in the Department of Corrections. We're supposed to be correcting what they have done wrong in society that got them in there. And it's methamphetamine. You're going to go, well, it's only 1.5 ounces. A quarter of that would get you killed in prison.
Yeah, 1.5 grams. That's actually a pretty substantial amount of methamphetamine.
Yeah, but can you imagine what the value of it is in prison?
Oh, sure.
No, I mean, that's got to be a whole lot of favors for somebody. That's got to be a whole lot of, please don't beat me up.
That'll keep Bubba off your booty for a while.
Yeah. I appreciate you using that kind of language, and so I didn't have to say it. But I think we're all on the same page here in terms of a tool of commerce in the prison. 1.5 grams probably go a long way.
Yeah, that's a lot.
To securing all kinds of favors and protection in a joint. Anyway,
you'd probably trade that for a cell phone.
Nice one like mine takes good pictures. Here's me and my Bubba. It's 9:51. I got 9 more minutes to kill. Let's figure out how I'm going to do it next.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Kelaguen Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on the Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Studio time 9:52. If you are a parent of a kid between the age of 8 and about 12, you need to spend more time with the kids. You need to spend more time, inspire them, and give them real and realistic goals. A study that was conducted, kids 8 to 12 in the United States, Canada, and China were recently polled in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission. Now, I didn't want to be an astronaut when I was a little kid. You know who I looked up to as the people in the command center when they were firing off the rockets. You know, and the guys that the astronauts were actually talking to these guys. These were the guys that put the plans together, pressed the button, got the engine started, and sent these men and women up to space. These are the ones that oversaw them coming back safely, home safely from space. 50 years ago, it was the summer of '69. I remember it vividly.
Yeah, the nerdy-looking guys.
Exactly. And that's who I wanted to be. And kids in the U.S. and the United Kingdom, when they took this test, 3 times likely to say they would prefer to be YouTubers or vloggers.
Oh, sure. No, that's the thing, man, because you can actually make money at that.
You can make some serious money.
Mm-hmm.
There's a girl I was looking at on the internet. Well, there's nothing unusual about that there, is there? Superwoman is her name. She has 14+ million subscribers, 778 videos. She graduated, got a degree, but found that was kind of useless. And I want to say that she is like the #1 biggest person on. She's in the top 10 of the biggest YouTubers and the vloggers that are out there, and top 10 in terms of actual earning, 10 million plus.
Some of this is actually common sense. And you've seen Mike Rowe,
yeah,
and Mike Rowe's been pushing lately to really get the younger generation more interested in trades.
Yes.
Because what we're doing is we're getting these kids enrolled in colleges for jobs that they'll never have, and their debt just getting out the door is in the tens of thousands, and it's just ridiculous. And this is probably what this girl figured out. Wow, got the degree, can't get a job doing what I studied to do, so let me make money doing something else.
I'm good in front of a camera, and you throw enough of this stuff out there, and a little great topics, great storylines, great what-ifs, maybe a little bit of sex appeal, and then bam, 14 million followers.
And you see these travel bloggers, they're out there traveling. They're taking the money they're making from doing the blogging and going on the traveling. And so they're basically vacationing for a living.
Yeah. Well, I know a girl, Babe Traveling, and I met her. I met her at Jimmy D's, and we hung out for a little bit. And now I think she's working in Hawaii somewhere. That's like a real life job. But the rest of it is because she's got so many followers on Instagram, and there's all these Instagram girls out there. She's got so many followers on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and places like that that she can walk into virtually any destination market and say, "Hi, I'm Babe Traveling, and put me up in a hotel room, give me some meal certificates, show me your swimming pool, show me your gym, and then she'll go to the shops around the place and get free clothes, and she's not the best at it. She's not the best looking of them, which is indicative to me that there is a hell of a market for this kind of thing for all kinds of people, attractive and the 9s and the 10s that are out there. Unfortunately, neither one of us fall into that category. There is one other thing I'd like to do before I get all done with today's program. Earlier played a new offering from a guy that was super popular in the 1970s named Dickie Goodman. This one here has to do with alien spacecraft and Donald Trump in there. It's kind of a weird put together, but it got me thinking about one of the first time I heard Dickie Goodman and the song that I couldn't wait for them to play on the radio time and time again. So I'm going to be hoping that there's somebody else out there thinking about Dickie Goodman and waiting hours to have the guy on the radio play Mr. Jaws. Here it is.
We are here on the beach where a giant shark has just eaten a girl swimmer. Well, Mr. Jaws, how was it? And what did she say when you grabbed her? Please, Mr. Please. I know sharks are stupid, but what did you think when you took that first bite? How sweet it is. Mr. Jaws, before you swim out to sea, have you anything else to say? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. With me now is the local sheriff. Sheriff Brody, the shark will be back for lunch. What do you intend to do? Just arriving is oceanographer Matt Hooper. Sir, if someone is attacked by a shark, what should they do? We are going aboard the fishing boat of Captain Quint. Captain, will you be able to catch this giant shark? I will. Thank you, Captain. Captain, when you catch one of these sharks, what do you feel like? Like a rhinestone cowboy. We've just sighted the shark again. He's coming straight for us. Captain Quint is shouting something at him. Hey, Jaws, the captain says he's going to catch you. What do you think of that? Uh-oh, here he comes again. They've hit him. Mr. Jaws, why doesn't anything seem to hurt you? He's coming right onto the boat. Mr. Jaws, why are you grabbing my hand? No, wait. Mr. Jaws, that's not the way this record is supposed to end. Help! Help!
Yeah, could you do something like that in 2019? Get the attention of the kids the same way they were able to do stuff like that in the 1970s. Could you do it with the songs that they have out these days? What is it? Somebody, Kiki, do you love me? Is there something in there? 888-8255. They all need a skill, is what folks are chiming in on. Maybe that the throwback to the conversation that I was talking about a little bit earlier about how